It's our anniversary, and welcome to the Halas Hangover. That's right. It's 1 year for us on the dot, and we brought in a special guest. He's on the field from the Chicago Bear Report at 247 Sports. We have Zack Pearson in the house. We're putting him under the white hot light right after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars aligned. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the South Side parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. BearDown Sundays midfield battles cute. Chicago.
Oh, Sean, you remembered our anniversary.
Of course I remembered our anniversary. So this is why this is kind of special for us to get you on today, Zach. We started 1 year ago tomorrow, actually. So we're 24 hours ahead. But we really appreciate you joining us here tonight. How's everybody else doing out there?
Doing
good, man. Ready to talk some Bears.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Always a good day for that.
Absolutely. So, Zach, we're going to dig right into this. And we were all thinking last week after Buffalo, everything was sunshine and roses. The operation looked great. And then we went to Kansas City. Caleb showed some of those same issues we've seen before, pre-snap mistakes, unnecessary sacks. Honestly, Caleb and Ben both looked a little frustrated out there. So, in your opinion, where are the Bears right now? Where is this offense right now, just 14 days away from the Chicago Bears home opener?
Yeah, I still, this might not be the words everyone wants to hear, but I still think they're learning. Like they're probably at where I think they realistically should be. I thought going into camp, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. It's a new head coach, it's a new offense, there's new pieces. Last year was just kind of a blah year overall for the franchise and for Caleb Williams. So I think they're kind of where they're at. They have 14 days to kind of figure this out. And look, if they start off slow, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't panic yet. I'd probably give it, after that bye, week 5, 6, 7 mark. But I'd say, honestly, the main concerns are kind of what you guys saw on that first drive. You saw the botch snap, like end around play. And then the very next play, they'll be able to false start on Colson Loveland. That's pretty much what camp has been like. Like that's been the one nagging thing with this offense. Like it's not been, Caleb inaccurate or Caleb throwing interceptions. It's been false start, delay of game, not getting in and out the huddle, illegal formation, fixing where players should be. And that drives Ben Johnson crazy. I can tell you that firsthand. I've heard him out there screaming and yelling. He wants to be very detail oriented, and I don't think they're 100% there just yet.
Yeah, it seems like from news out of training camp, watching the preseason games, that Caleb has struggled a little bit to grasp Ben Johnson's offense. When do you think is a reasonable time for Bears fans to expect him to start to look comfortable in this offense? And when do you think that could turn into wins on the football field?
Yeah, I would say probably a couple games because, look, practices are different than the training camp practices, and all that's different than the games. Like you're going to see that live action, obviously, come up week 1. And we saw a little bit of it in Kansas City, saw a little bit of it against Buffalo. So yeah, I would give it a couple weeks. Like I said, I wouldn't panic in terms of if they do struggle. I wouldn't overreact if they come out and they look amazing. The NFL is a long season, man. It's 18 weeks. We saw last year firsthand. They started off like 4-1, 4-2.
4-2, yeah.
And then it just went downhill. And they look like a team that just didn't even belong on the field for most of the season until probably, week 18 there. So I think in terms of when it should all be together, like at week 7, 8 mark, but I don't think that means they're going to be 0-8 or 0-6 or whatever it is. Like, I think they'll start translating into winning some games. And, the beauty of the NFL is they have a tough schedule. They have the division games at the end. They have at Cincy, at Baltimore. They have at Philadelphia on Black Friday. But the beauty of the NFL is we don't know what those teams are going to be. Like anything can happen. One injury, there's always a team that's supposed to be really good that's bad. There's always a team that's really bad that kind of contends for a playoff spot. So it's kind of have to take it as it goes as the season goes on.
Yeah, man. What you were when you were answering that last question before this one, you were talking about Ben Johnson and how he's not happy with like the pre-snap bullshit and the issues on all of those things, the mistakes, the mental mistakes. How many Bears head coaches have you been there for to watch camps up to this point in your career?
Let's see, John Fox, Matt Nagy.
Okay.
A lot of bad teams. I'll just say.
How does Ben Johnson? Then that's perfect, because now my question is, how does Ben Johnson stack up next to these guys in terms of how this camp feels and how he's orchestrating this?
Yeah, honestly, I think each one is a little different. Just because John Fox was a veteran, he kind of, it was kind of the end of the road for him. Kind of just taking him out the equation, because he had some funky things, like letting the players go early and like bringing the media out there. And it's like, all right, practice is done. I'm like, what are we doing out here? Like, talk about that monkey and when he was a kid, all that stuff. So that was kind of like a goofy one. But in terms of Ben Johnson, I think just even like more recent with the recency bias, like. You could tell last year with Matt Eberflus, like things were just not right in training camp. And it was to the point where it was like, okay, it's the same stuff over and over and over again that we're bugging them. But here's the thing. He would tell us the operation's great. We're happy with where it's at. Ben Johnson's not saying that. If you listen to Ben Johnson, like we've been saying, he's called it out. He's called out the offense. He had a quote that I think a lot of people – the Friday of the Bills joint practice, he pretty much called out the offensive tackles and said they're just not good enough at left tackle. And we just haven't heard that from, Matt Eberflus or Matt Nagy. I think Matt Nagy's biggest fault essentially was he got into his own head way too much. He found success and he wanted it his way. He became fixated on the kicker competition. It just mentally was not there. I don't get that from Ben Johnson. The day that they hired Ben Johnson, that we got to talk to him in the press conference, we essentially had a extra 30-minute, like off the record type thing where we just got to meet him, hang out, ask him just various questions, that we're not allowed to talk about. But I can just tell you this, like, it was just different in terms of his tone, how smart he was, how it just kind of doesn't feel like the moment's too big for him. And that's pretty impressive for a first-year head coach. Now, could it all go up in flames? Yeah, it's the NFL. Sorry, my desk is moving here. Everything can go up in flames, but I just don't get the sense that it will to the level we saw with Eberflus and Matt Nagy.
Awesome.
Yes, and Zach, you mentioned that you saw the left tackle battle. You heard Ben Johnson talk about on that Friday about the position in particular. It looks like Braxton Jones clearly has a foot ahead in this race, but do you think that there's any possibility that how close behind is Ozzie Trapillo? Is there any possibility that we see a position change in the middle of this season?
Yeah, so I think, like you said, I think Braxton Jones probably got the best chance right now. I'd be shocked if it wasn't him week one, just because he is the incumbent. You know what you got in him, essentially. He's got some familiarity with the offensive line and Caleb already. I do think that bye week's probably that sweet spot of, okay, look, we won a couple games, lost a couple games. We could get better at this position. Let's make the change. Now, you said Ozzie Trapillo. The last 2 weeks, though, he's been at right tackle. So I have literally no idea what they are trying here. I thought of it at first was, okay, the loser of Braxton and Ozzie is going to be your swing tackle. That's just the reality of it. And I thought that was a great situation, because if Ozzie wins, you need to make the change. You have a veteran at least that's been in that role in Braxton. If Braxton loses the job, or wins the job, then loses it, you have Ozzie waiting, up and coming left tackle. Then Theo Benedict starts getting reps at left tackle. I'm like, okay, they're just going to mix it like they did with Kieran. And no, it's been all Ozzie at the right side. So I don't know. I'm guessing it would be Ozzie, but I can't say 100% that if Braxton fails and they want to make this change, if it is going to be Ozzie.
You think it could be Joe Tooney?
I would be a
possibility.
Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I wouldn't. I just think he's just too good at guard. I agree. You can't mess that up. But here's the thing, though, with the future of Ozzie is you spend a second round pick on a player, and if he ends up being a backup right tackle, there's a little bit of an issue there. Yeah, it's not good at all. It's not good.
Yeah, when we flip the sides of the ball here to the defense, there's three guys that I'm really interested in. Want to get your impressions being on the field and what you think of these guys. Three guys I think are very important. A. Dexter right in the middle. Then you have Montez Sweat on the edge. And what are your impressions of Brisker? Because we know coverage is one of his weak spots, and he looked very weak against Kansas City. So where do you think these three gentlemen are at setting the tone on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I'm glad you said Brisker because it is noticeable the swagger, the confidence that defense has with him out there, just in terms of his presence and getting the guys pumped up. That's noticeable. Now, the coverage is an issue. Travis Kelce blowing right by him, juking him on another play too. So that's kind of an issue. Maybe a little rust, and like you said, he's not the greatest at coverage. So that's always kind of been a little bit of an issue. Yeah. But maybe mixed in a little bit of rust. We'll have to see. But I just think his presence out there just is a good thing, and players have talked about that. Montez Sweat, from what I've seen out there and people I've talked to in that building, he is a different player than last year. He's that player that they traded for a couple of years ago at the deadline, and he had 6 sacks for Washington, 6 sacks for Chicago, something like that. He had a nice year. Last year was a struggle. He had that shin injury. I think he had another injury. I saw one of the injuries on his shin, and it looked like he took a cleat to it. And if it put that big of a man in pain, I probably would have been like laying in the hospital or something like that. That is a large human being, and to have that pain. So I think he's going to be fine this year. With Gervon, man, he's got to be one of the keys this year. Like he has to take that step forward. Yeah. And I think he was having a good year last year. And then you watch, and right after Andrew Billings went out about week 3 or 4-ish, I think early in the season, production dropped because he was getting those double teams. He didn't have the big defensive tackle eating up blocks for him. So he was hurt by that. But I do think Gervon is ready. He's ready for a breakout season. I think the key for me is Dennis Allen. Like, if he can get Gervon going, man, it's going to be a big positive for this defense because they need someone else besides Montez Sweat to get after the pass rush. They're get after the quarterback because I don't know.
100%. Yeah. He needs help. They need help.
Yeah. Big time. I mean, Montez Sweat could get you 13, 14 sacks, and that's incredible. But if the other guys combine for 4, 5, I mean,
and if he's being double, triple teamed every time too, like because no one else is stepping up and taking that pressure off.
Someone has to step up eventually.
Do you think that guy could be our Jayhawk, Austin Booker? What are your impressions of Book?
Man, he's a tough one because it looked like he put on some weight, looked like he kind of got himself into a better football body. And he had that big game in the preseason. It was on his way to another big game against Buffalo, and then boom, he gets hurt. And honestly, I think he's gonna be out a couple weeks, like Ben Johnson said. I don't know if he's a short-term IR candidate. It would not shock me, but he's got to be on the roster tomorrow in order to do that. I think he's gonna take a step forward. My only thing was we saw this last year too in the preseason, and it did not translate to the regular season. Now that's a rookie. Like, you got to give him a pass. Learning curve. I'd say he's more than likely to continue that into the regular season this year than he was last year. But again, the injury is a little bit worrisome.
Well,
Zach, I'm glad that Sean brought up the defense because obviously watching these preseason games, stopping the run seems to be a concern for the Chicago Bears right now. But another thing that seems to be a concern is losing Terrell Smith for the season and the depth in the secondary, particularly at the corner position. The silence around the Zay Frazier situation is becoming more and more and more concerning. I mean, this is a guy they drafted, and they were telling us this is a prototypical corner for the NFL. Al Harris loves him. Do you have any insight at all as to what is going on with this guy?
No. I've asked, cannot figure it out. It's the same thing. Personal issue, something going on personal. We did see him, when was it, last Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. He was out there. That's the first time I've seen him. He was by the bikes, and then they carted him around. He rode the golf cart around back inside the facility. So I'm guessing that is working with trainers. That's trying to get into that football shape. Makes sense to go on the NFI active list because he's probably just not in the football shape. And here's my concern. when you're a rookie, you're already behind in the NFL. Very few players catch up. You get Jaden Daniels catches up. You get, those rookies, sometimes the quarterbacks can catch up, some of the wide receivers, running backs. We saw it with Kieran Amagaji. He was behind. He missed a lot of time. We saw it with Tevin Jenkins a couple of years ago. He was behind. You're playing catch up your rookie year. So for me, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I would say it's safe to say it's going to be a red shirt year for him, which is, disappointing because Terrell Smith just went down. And Terrell Smith is, to me, I mean, if you guys, pay attention to the training camp a couple of years ago, he was neck and neck with Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
Like they were both right there to win the starting job. He got playing time for a reason the last couple of years. He can play. He's a good cover corner. Losing him hurts. And now you're basically taking a red shirt year on a draft pick. That's not good. The only thing I will say is I think their depth is fine. I know everyone's freaking out about Nashawn Wright. I don't think it's going to be that bad in the regular season. Like I think that's just one bad game. Josh Blackwell is more than capable of handling some backup duties if needed. I think their depth is going to be fine, and we'll have to kind of see what the situation with Frazier is.
Do you think that Jalen and Kyler will be ready for the regular season?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kyler was actually back out there, so he'll be fine. He didn't play. You don't want to rush that. Jalen, I'd be shocked if Jalen was not activated before week 1. I think something would have to go, a setback somewhere, but I think they'll both be ready for week 1, which you're going to need them because you got Justin Jefferson and maybe Adam Thielen coming to town.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Speaking about the depth does become concerning to me in the secondary for sure. Terrell Smith, like you said, a damn good player that the Bears really needed to be a part of this rotation. Yeah. In terms of the starters, man, I think Tyreek, now that Terrell Smith is out, like Tyreek clearly has that job. I personally am expecting some big things from Tyreek Stevenson this season. What are you seeing? I think the system fits him really well, and I think the aggressiveness he can play with is going to really match his personality well, and he's going to fit into this scheme really well. Do you foresee that? Are you seeing that in camp when you're watching these guys practice? Is he taking strides from last year? Yeah,
I thought he was. After a couple practices, couple weeks, I thought he was probably the clear DB2.
Yeah.
The thing with Dennis Allen's defense, and Tyreek, this is a quote from Tyreek. He said, he lets cornerbacks go out and make their money, and that's man-to-man, that's press coverage. That's where you have to win, and that's as a corner, that's what you want. Corners would rather play man-to-man and earn their money than play zone. It's just the reality of it. In terms of how he's been, there's been times where you've seen him go up against some of the good receivers and win. There's also been times where he gets too handsy and he gets too aggressive.
We saw that in that game too on Friday as well, right?
Yep, you saw that stuff that's nagged him for the first couple of years of his season. But I think Al Harris is a good coach. I think Al Harris will get the best of him out of him. Honestly,
that's what I'm hoping as well. I think so.
We talked a little bit about Ben Johnson and the schedule that this Bears team's about to face. It is a gauntlet. And I think one of the things we can be excited about, win or lose early in the season with Ben Johnson, is that he's developing what I would say is a culture for sure, which the Bears haven't had in some time. Let me ask you this, being so close to the team as you are, I mean, is this a team with Ben Johnson that will respond better than they have to adversity? Like the Hail Mary play that broke, this team's back entirely last season. Do you think this team, even if they start the season on a low note, maybe losing a couple of games, this team under Ben Johnson will be able to respond better to things like those?
Yes. Last year was you could just feel it brewing. It was one of the tougher locker rooms to just kind of be around in terms of like, not only after that play, but as it just kind of trickled down, it just felt like, all right, something's happening, and the players are like, how do we stop this? We're too good. Like, we're too good for this to happen. Like, there's too much talent for this to happen. And I think it was just a mess with Shane Waldron. It was a mess with Matt Eberflus. What Thomas Brown was a pass game coordinator, I believe, to start the year. He ended up being the head coach.
And now he's a passing game coordinator again in New England.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
And the game I keep pointing to last year is watch the game against San Francisco and watch. I don't even think it was Garendo. I think it was the other backup that just every run play up the middle, big yardage. So they flat out quit. And, I hate saying that about professional athletes. They would probably tell you they flat out quit. They didn't
I
care
agree
about the
with you.
game. You could tell at the end of the year, I forget who it was. I remember a veteran saying this in a press conference. He said at the end of the year, you see the guys who are thinking about shipping their cars and their clothes back home because they know the year is over. And you can tell who that is. You could tell a lot of guys were pretty much,
You mean those Matt Eberflus speeches weren't uplifting enough to get them back on track?
Man, I some of the press conferences I sat through, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what is he saying? Like, what's going on here? And you could just feel it. You're like, this is bad. But to answer the question, no, I think Ben Johnson. Yeah, I think they're better equipped with Ben Johnson to handle that. And here's the reality: they're going to hit adversity at some point. Someone is going to punch them in the mouth, and something's going to happen. And they could be, let's say they're 8-3. There could be some adversity. How they respond is what we're going to know a lot about this football team. And right now, I'd say it's going to be a positive response. I think Ben Johnson will have them. I mean, he learned from Dan Campbell in Detroit. And we can mock their culture all we want. That's a tough damn football team. You know what I mean? That's a very tough football team.
He changed their culture entirely.
Yes. That's what
Zach,
they need. They needed that here big time.
Speaking of getting punched in the mouth, Jed wants to know who wins in a bare knuckle boxing match for tight end one, Loveland or Komet?
Well, okay. As long as the answer,
Jed's a jokester in our chat. Just
as long as the answer doesn't get back to any of them, because I don't want to have to face them in the locker room. I'm 6 foot, but I'm not very. I can't.
Yeah.
No, it's actually funny because like seeing them up close, it's like they're two totally like. Komet's a little more bulkier, like a little more ripped. And that's not to say Loveland's not like muscular or anything, but like Loveland looks like more of a wide receiver in a way. And I've been saying, I don't like saying he's Brock Bowers because I think Brock Bowers is generational. I think the tight end that Brock Bowers is the evolution in the future of the position in the NFL, where it's more of a wide receiver skill set. He can run route. Yeah, hybrid. He can catch. But if you need to put him on the inline and you need him to block, he can do that. I think that's kind of what Colson Loveland is. Whereas Komet is more like, he's going to block. He's a little bigger, but he can also go out and be that kind of, safe safety valve for Caleb Williams.
They're going to be a hell of a duo together in this offense, though.
I think so too. I think we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, and that's going to dictate a lot because you line up in that 12 personnel and defense is a nickel. You can run the football. They're in their base package. You could throw the football, and you have two tight ends that can be mismatched
either way.
Yeah. And that's not even including, DJ Moore. Do you put out Roma Dunze? Do you put out Luther Burden? Do you put out Zacchaeus? I mean, you have a lot of options. Yeah.
Another question from the chat here, Zach. Squeegee's asking, what's up with Darnell Wright? Do you think he's going all out for us? Does he not look the same as the last couple of years? Do we have any question marks around him, basically?
Yeah, I'll say this. Darnell Wright's going up against Montez Sweat a lot in training camp. And how I like to, when I'm out there and I'm looking at my notebook, I look at it this way. Like when you get the one-on-ones, the defense is usually going to have the advantage. They're starting a little more downhill. In drills, before they put the pads on, it's so hard to kind of, what I'm trying to say here. It's hard to evaluate it because there is no pads. You can't really do a lot. You can do some hand fighting. So I will say, although he struggled a little bit in training camp, we have to remember who he's going against. He's going against primarily Montez Sweat. Dio's beaten him a couple of times, but it's not like he's consistently losing reps like Daniel Hardy or Austin Booker or any of these other guys. So I think Wright is a good right tackle. I think, he's got to get better though. Like last year was a little bit of a disappointment. Now's the time. You're a top 10 pick. Year 3 is where you gotta take that next level and be that franchise right tackle.
100%.
Yeah, and we heard Ben say year 3 is when these guys need to establish themselves in the NFL. Zach, I'm going to ask you a question we've asked every Bears insider on this show so far. Bears fans have been fooled before, and there's a lot of excitement and energy around this 2025 Bears team. What would you say is different about this season than in years past, and Bears should have more confidence in 2025 than they have in years past?
Yeah, it's tough because, you said it, man, been fooled so many times.
Yeah. Scarred.
A lot of
Yeah, actually,
scars.
a lot of stars. Yes. That was actually my buddy texted me today, and he was saying, is this it? Or like, or is this? Can we trust this? Is this the one? I'm like, look, I have to see it before I can 100% confidently say yes, because that's not a cop out either. Because I've been fooled. I've been fooled out there watching players and coaches. For me, I think the biggest difference is what we keep going back to with the details of Ben Johnson, how smart he is, how he clearly has a plan for what he wants. And he clearly, they threw the book at Caleb Williams and more. From the beginning, they wanted to overload Caleb Williams, and they wanted to see how much he can do. And, a lot of people, we freaked out in training camp when he struggled, and we freaked out about the not playing against Miami. It's all part of the plan. I can't sit here and say I knew what the plan was from Matt Eberflus. I can't sit here and say I knew what the plan was a lot of times for Matt Nagy. I remember, when they drafted Justin Fields, and he essentially was Andy's a starting quarterback, Justin's to be in the practice squad, reps, whatever it was. And, then you got Nick Foles there. I didn't know what that plan was. I didn't know what the plan was with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles in the competition. I know what the plan is here. I know Ben Johnson's a smart guy. So I do think this is more than likely going to work out. But again, nothing's a guarantee in the NFL. I mean, we all probably thought Matt Nagy was going to be the greatest thing after that first year.
Well, coach of the year, right?
Yeah.
Coach of the year, executive of the year.
8th one executive of the year. Yeah. That was a very, very successful season. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would just say get excited. I never want to tell fans, like, don't be excited about your favorite team because, we get excited on this time of year, and then by October, it's over. So it's just a harsh
Take advantage of it now. Yeah.
Take advantage of it now.
Temper expectations a little bit.
But temper expectations and just know kind of in the back of your head, like it could fail. I hope it doesn't, but it's always a possibility.
No, as you said, with the schedule, that's a complete gauntlet. It looks like the hardest schedule in the NFL, damn near, right? It's up there. It's one of the top two. And with the new coaching staff and new offensive system with your quarterback learning it, that's kind of what we've been preaching. Like this is a foundational year in my mind. Like build that culture and then have something to build on. And I heard you saying earlier, like, week 6, week 7, after that bye week coming around, I mean, do you do predictions on record win-loss for the Bears?
I get asked to do it a lot.
I get asked.
It's hard because like I went through like on the schedule release, I went through and I was like, okay, I can see this as a win, I can see this as a win, a loss. But I'm like, we thought the Patriots game last year would have been an easy win.
Yeah, we did.
We thought that whole stretch, there was like a 5-game stretch there in the middle of the season where it's like, this is a win.
Yeah, and we probably thought the Packers game was going to be a loss at Lambeau Field. You know what I mean? It's like everything changes. I think the over-under is 8.5 right now for Vegas.
Yeah.
I've always said 8-9 wins, I think is the spot they're going to be at. Now, if everything goes right, 10-11 wins. If things go wrong, I don't even want to talk about if things go wrong. But, I'd say about 8-9 wins. I still think they're probably a year away from being like, okay, we can contend, not only win a playoff game, get to the next round, maybe contend for an NFC championship. I still think they're a year away.
Yeah, so Flash
I
has
echo
got
that
enough
sentiment,
consistency.
Well, following that, then Zach, let me ask you this: regardless of wins and losses and playoffs or no playoffs, how would you measure success when the season's in the bag?
Yeah, Caleb Williams' development.
Yep.
I think Caleb Williams' development is the biggest thing. I think learning what Ben Johnson is as a head coach. I go back to that adversity. They're going to face it. They might face adversity the first week of the season. They might find themselves in a hole. How do you respond? They find themselves in a 14-0 hole against Minnesota, and they lose 24-21, but they fought back. I think that's obviously you don't want to lose, but you saw because last year that team would have lost 24-0.
They quit. They would quit.
They would have quit.
Yeah.
So I think Caleb Williams taking that next step. That's the biggest thing. Ben Johnson, how he can coach. That's probably the second biggest thing. And then what does this defense give you? Can they prove that, hey, we can rush the passer? So I would say honestly to answer the question, I think it's Caleb Williams. I think it's his development because You don't want to be drafting a quarterback in 2027.
No,
You do not want to go down that route, especially
right.
the first, second round. Yeah, you just don't want to.
And
We got
Zach
Tyson
was
Bagent.
Yeah, we got T. We got
Yeah,
T-
Now they're
17.
backup
That's
quarterback.
true.
He's looked damn
That's true.
good, guys. He's looked damn good. Ben Johnson has made an impact on him very quickly in
Well,
his
Ben obviously
career, it
likes
seems like to me.
That was the best move for him.
Yeah.
I know you guys didn't ask questions, but like that was the best
talk about
move.
it.
Like
Yeah.
him developing as a backup under Ben Johnson gives him a better option in the future to go out and win a starting job if he wants to somewhere, whether it's here or not. Hopefully, no offense to him. Hopefully Caleb is the guy here and he doesn't have to compete for a starting job. But why would he go to the Saints right now? You know
It's
what I mean?
very similar to what Ben Johnson did with Detroit. If you think
I
about
wouldn't
it,
go to
right?
the Saints right
Like Ben Johnson bought his time as the offensive coordinator in Detroit until he knew he was ready and the right job came about. Like, and Tyson Bagent is now going to learn from Ben Johnson and be able to take that somewhere else when he's ready, if he's ready.
Yeah, and like you said, if he's ready, Ben Johnson will have him prepared, and that's when you part ways. You say, "Look, you've been a great backup for us. You've earned enough. You've earned life-changing money for him. Go out and go win a starting job." You know, if he left right now, I mean, where's he gonna like? Is he gonna back? I mean, I
He'd
guess
end up in
like,
a bad situation for sure.
yeah, I guess the only situation I would compare it to that'd be a good one for him would probably be L.A. with McVay if Stafford, depending on that. But like other than that, where else would you go?
And I feel as if the Bears have left teams wanting more, right? Like the Bears could probably finagle a third-round pick for Tyson Bagent right now if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, at least in the future, if he continues to look as good as he has under Ben
Can
Johnson.
Can we get Mikey's question out here just to get it answered real quick, Sean? The one I just had up. Because Mikey's an awesome supporter of us, so he's asking, and it's kind of in the vein of what you were talking about before we got on the Bagent thing. But he says, "What's your thoughts on how this team will adjust during games while they're learning this new system, like game to game and in game?" Yeah,
that's a good question. I'll say this: the players better be in that playbook, studying and learning everything, because there is a lot. What we saw in the preseason, very vanilla offense. They're not going to show anything.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Detroit, man, you watch those
dropbacks in the preseason.
You watch that offense in Detroit. A lot of mesh routes over the middle, designing guys to get open. It constantly changes. It constantly evolves. So I think as offense evolves, if you're a player and you're looking for playing time, you better be ready. And Ben Johnson said, like, they're going to evaluate every week. Like every week, those practice reps are going to evaluate. That's going to earn you playing time. In terms of the offense in general, I mean, obviously you want it to get better week by week. There's going to be hiccups, but it's going to go back to the quarterback. If Caleb can't process the offense and can't get the offense going, it's going to struggle no matter what. I mean, it's just the reality of it. So, I hate to keep giving the same answer, like not the same.
It lives and dies with Caleb this season. You are 100% correct.
It just does, man.
Hey guys, first off, Zach, I want to thank you very much for your time, because we are pushing your limit here just a little bit, and we all really do appreciate you coming on. If you've got time for this one right here and two more quick ones,
let's do it.
And they're super simple. First one, before we read this one, because that was one of my three. But do the Bears at a DN tomorrow? And what's your biggest surprise cut on this roster?
I don't think they'll add a D end right away. What are they on the waiver? They're like 8, 9, 10, something like that. 10, I think. Mm-hmm. I think they're probably going to look at the free agent market weekend next week, maybe, if they got something. But I don't think they'll make a move right away. And then the other one was like a surprise cut, maybe.
Yeah.
My surprise cut. Oh God, I'd probably have to go in the trenches. I actually wrote about it. I think Dominic Robinson will be a cut. I don't know if that's surprising.
No, not really. No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give you one. I think I thought he was going to make the team, and now I'm kind of going back and forth. I think Kieran would be a pretty big surprise.
Okay. Yeah, it would. Third-round pick last year.
Third-round pick, that's really tough to – I mean, they didn't give up on Velas till after year 2, I think it was. Mm-hmm. That'd be a surprise pick. Like, I don't have Tyler Scott making it. I don't think that's the surprise cut.
They actually went all 3 years with Valus, didn't they? Last year was Valus's third year.
Yeah, they started
yeah,
right.
They started the season with him last year too. Yeah,
I know I did mark Kieran as on my roster, but the more I go back, if I had to change it, I'd probably say no, he won't make it. Like,
that would be a shock.
that would be a
And
surprising one.
and a very
Wouldn't
bad
be a surprise to
testament
me,
to
unfortunately.
Ryan Poles.
Well, I think honestly, the interesting thing is I can see the comments here. So there's one about Jade Walker, right? Yeah,
Exactly. Even Jade Walker. Yeah.
I don't know. Here's what I say about that. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, Zacchaeus is the 4. 5 is going to be Duvernay just because of the
returning.
The return. If they kept 6, I'd have him on. I don't have him on right now. I think they're going to keep 5. I think
that's what I think too. I think they're not going more than 5.
Yeah, I think he's ahead of Tyler Scott. If they keep 6, I think he'll be on. Here's the thing, though. Every year we always say, man, I don't think this guy's going to get past the waiver wire, and then he's right back on the practice squad. I think that could be, but he's a little different.
He balled out. He balled out.
Yeah.
Like he could draw some interest from a receiver needy team and end up gone.
He'll
might want to find a way to hold on to him. Yeah,
he'll be at Minnesota.
I think you can make an argument that Maurice Alexander and Jade Walker are more valuable than Tyler Scott at this point. I mean, the guy's had 3 years. I mean, how long do you give somebody, like you said, Zach? When you're going in your 3rd year, you better have separated yourself from the competition. Tyler Scott simply hasn't done that. He just hasn't done that.
No, and there's a telltale. If you watch the Kansas City game, he was on the kickoff, and to me, you're on the kickoff the first series. That tells me they want to see something. All right, here's your shot. They got to see something on special teams too. As I say, Tyler Scott is actually a great guy. I've talked to him a bunch of times. But he wasn't drafted under Ben Johnson. He was drafted obviously by Ryan Poles. But I would probably have Walker ahead of him if they kept 6. I just, it's a numbers game. I mean, it comes down to that. You get down to 50, 51, 52,
you
53.
need that depth in the trenches. You need that defensive line and that offensive line to keep as many of that depth as you can there.
Probably.
So I think 4 running backs, 4 running backs, 5 receivers is probably the way they'll lean. I'd like to be surprised though.
The running back room is so banged up right now. I mean, is
That's
Britton Brown a lock?
No, well,
today's cuts. So
here's the thing. So you got to put a player on IR. They have to be on the active roster first. So Roschon would have to make the 53 to get on to get on IR essentially if he's going to return. If you put him on IR right now, he's not returning. Kyle Monunga is banged up. I don't know. They just released Royce Freeman. They just released Ian Wheeler. Now, who's the guy? Who's the Cam Akers?
Hankins is still there.
Yeah.
Hankins got waived.
He got
waived.
Yeah.
He was injured for the year, I think.
Yeah, I think he got put on one of the lists. It all blends together.
Well, with Kyler and Jalen Johnson, you said you see them back week 1, and now we're talking about these running backs. Do you think that those are more severe? Like the Monungai thing seems like it's just a precautionary thing to me, but you're closer to it than I am. So do you think the Monungai thing is something to worry about?
I don't think it's something to worry about. Is it more to worry about than Jalen and Kyler? Yes. But I don't think it's I don't think he's going to go on IR. I'd be shocked if he went on IR. I think at worst, it might be like a soft tissue where you got to kind of give it a week or two or a couple weeks. I don't know. It's interesting because you have to put Roche on the active, but like today, there was DeAndre Swift and Britton Brown. Like those were the only 2 backs out there. So I do think, I don't know, man. That's actually a tough question.
Maybe an Audric Estime.
Yeah, he's out there. Cam Akers is out there. There's going to be there's going to be serviceable running backs to get you through week 1, 2 if you need it. Because I think with Roschon, I'd probably lean to probably going to IR him for a little bit. Which is funny because when the practice he got hurt, he like came in and talked to us after, and he was like, I feel great, and then like the next day he's not out there, and I'm like, all right, what's going on here? And that was that live practice that Tuesday. That was that live practice where they just were hitting. I'm like, okay, where the heck is he? But no, I don't think they're going to release Roschon. I think if anything, they'll sign him, put him on IR. I think you could probably get away with Britton Brown being cut to save a number somewhere else. Like we could see tomorrow, there could be 3 running backs on the roster, there won't be 3 running backs come Saturday, Sunday. It'll be different. They'll cycle in
yeah.
players.
No,
It's gonna
Okay.
be, here's why I say that's why they call it the initial 53 man, not the final 53 man.
Okay. Very
That
good.
makes sense. Hey,
Yeah.
Zach, before we let you go, man, again, we really appreciate your time tonight. You've been fantastic answering
You're
all
awesome,
these
Zach.
questions.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Where can everybody in the chat find you, follow you, and get after your work?
Yeah, it's just Twitter, X, whatever it is like Zack ZACK _Pearson. What else am I on? BearReport.com, all that stuff. I mean, I'm pretty easy to find, honestly. So I do a podcast as well. But yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. 1-year anniversary. Thanks, guys. Congrats on that. First off,
Thank you.
should have brought
Zach.
you guys a little champagne or bourbon or something.
Zach,
Pop a bottle.
same to you, man. You keep up the good work, man. We love following you on Twitter.
Hey.
We read all your stuff, man. You do a great job, and we really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys. Next time I'll give you some more time. We'll talk. Maybe we could do something this season. If you guys
Yeah,
want.
Sure.
Let's do it.
You got my contact, so
Yeah.
feel free to reach out and enjoy the rest of the show. And this was it Thigh and Smee podcast here. Does Love Island frustrate you? Yes. Did not like this season. I am a guilty pleasures reality TV show. My wife loves that stuff. So when the kids go to bed, we watch. Worst season, terrible. That's all. I'll end it on that.
Zach, bear down, man.
Bear
Thank
down,
you,
Zach.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach.
Bear down. Thanks so much, brother.
Have a good one. See ya.
You
You too, man.
Oh, that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, man, that was cool. Very
Yeah,
good.
we'll see. We'll see
Thanks
if we
to
can
Zach.
get him back here.
Very down to earth. Like, where can I find you? Zach?
Relentless
I'm
Mikey
all over the
saying much more likable than Brad. I'll be at your barbecue next week. Much more likable than Brad Biggs. And V Dog says you're one of the best Bears beat reporters out there, Zach. Getting some love from the chat. Thanks, guys. He kills it.
He is a phenomenal writer, and it was very awesome of Zack Pearson to give us some time, guys, and possibly get him back in the middle of the season.
We'll see if we can get him after the first 4 games. We'll reach
Nah,
back
it'd be
out and see if we
fucking
can
awesome to have a longer chat with him.
Maybe the bye week. Maybe the bye week. That would be a good
What is the
start.
bye week?
I think it's week 5.
Oh, week 5. Yeah. That would be great. That would be great. We'll definitely set that up for our lovely Bears community. Guys, thanks for firing away all those questions too, man. You made him feel special, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and guys, if he comes on again and gives us more time, we'll do
This is crazy from
a
Carl.
whole segment for the comments for the chat.
Zach is so good at his job that I try not to rage bait him on Twitter. If you guys see what Carl does on Twitter, that's all he does. That's like Carl's whole thing. So that's
it definitely is.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
love
guys.
it. He tries to rage me. Yeah, it's been a great week, man.
That was special, man. I mean, it means a lot. This is our 1-year anniversary. Thanks for everybody who's been here throughout this year, guys, and supporting us. But to get somebody like that, Sean, phenomenal get.
Man, good job.
Hopefully he'll give us some time again later in the season.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't scare him off.
Sean, you want to go over all the roster updates from today?
Before we do that, real quick, guys, do you want to touch on this skipper thing real quick? Because I'm seeing this a lot on Bears social media. A lot of people want Dan Skipper, who was cut by Detroit today, the swing tackle for Detroit, Ben Johnson's guy the last couple of years. Do we have any thoughts on that?
The Bears are currently trying to trade a lineman. I don't know if they're going to go after signing anybody.
Yeah, McFadden, right?
No,
I don't think so either. I think they're pretty comfortable with their tackle positions. They shouldn't be, but it seems like they are.
I think this team has more confidence in Theo Benedict than the fan base does. I don't know what they're seeing in camp that we're not seeing, but I think they think he's a pretty serviceable backup or at least maybe even a spot starter in the NFL. And I think they're okay with the combination of Trapilo, Benedict, and obviously Braxton Jones going into the season. It's kind of. I agree with you, Justin. It's a little.
I'm not okay with Braxton Jones.
My hands are sweating just saying.
And Ozzie Trapilo, who can't beat him out for a job, and can't even get a backup left tackle spot.
I do agree, though. I do agree, though, that the Quran is out of the conversation. Would you guys agree with that?
Relentless said he's a better tackle than Skipper. I mean, so
that's not saying much.
Way out on Dan Skipper. Yeah, I mean, and we just heard Zack Pearson say he could be the surprise cut tomorrow of this team, where we're all like, "Wow, they just drafted him in the 3rd round last year."
Surprised the most. Not a surprise to me.
We heard it. Yeah. I mean, we had a long conversation about this last week, guys, and we just heard it from somebody who spends time on the field day in and day out. It doesn't sound like Ozzie Trapilo was even the backup left tackle on this football team. I mean, that's it. Could you imagine if?
Well, my guess is
all the reports. that
Yeah, it's
Theo
gonna be
Benedict
interesting.
ended up replacing him.
Like
It's
if
gonna
they're
be
on
interesting,
if
you
they're
know.
playing, if they're in the I formation, I think Ozzy Trapillo would be the first person on the field before Theo Bennett. And that's just a speculation. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean,
but-
listen, they could be playing Trapillo at right tackle to get him just as much exposure to that.
Yeah, and you guys
to
remember-
then where he can be
Yeah,
that
I mean,
swing, you know.
yeah, and you
get
guys remember when Trapillo got
acclimated.
drafted? He said he wanted to play both sides because it helps your body stay even. It helps your body stay. It helps you
I
work
guess
out both
so
sides
you
of
don't
your
end
body.
up like leaning too
I'm
far to
with you.
one
Yeah,
side.
so you're not
I guess-
so you have like a bigger left leg than you do right leg.
I think the only way to
The guy
look
from
at
Lady
it
in the
now,
Water.
guys, is there's more questions raised today than there were three months ago, which is not good. There's just
Well, you know
no
what's really
good
not
about
good
that.
is the fact that this
Yeah.
guy is on the field every day and he has no more insight to what's going on with
That's
Zay
what I'm
Frazier
saying.
than
We have
anybody
more
else.
questions
It's
raised than
insane.
prior, and that's just concerning, top to bottom.
Well,
I didn't
again,
expect him to have an answer.
I would
I'm
also-
glad you asked it, Kyle.
Well, so you guys, I saw a rumor came out yesterday. It was on Twitter, and I don't know how much this is true, but apparently this person is somewhat close to Zay Frazier. Like I don't know if he's like an acquaintance or something, but that said that Zay Frazier had been contemplating retirement right after he was drafted because it's something with flying or something that gives him anxiety,
Oh,
massive
no.
anxiety. Like
Oh,
That-
there was an NBA player,
Royce White,
Royce White. Yeah, there was an
who is
NBA
now
player.
in the
You guys,
middle of an
I
election.
read
for the
that. This is not
Minnesota
me
mayor.
saying this. This is something I saw on Twitter, and you know how many Twitter posts are posted daily. So this could be something somebody's
there's
on the
something
couch
going
and they
on with
made
them.
up, but that's insane. Like that, you didn't know
Yeah,
that
but-
before you got
yeah, but
drafted in the NFL.
That
dude? You
can't
gotta be
there's
kidding me.
there can't be any validity to that, because even if you had issues flying, you'd be practicing.
What I don't understand is if it's a personal reason, then
Yes,
if they
Scrolls,
keep
yes,
saying
Scrolls.
personal reason, then it can't be an injury, right? Wouldn't they just come out and say he's injured? What favor
No,
would you?
no, they would have to report if it was a
You
football
have to.
injury.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something. It's something weird. It's got to be something
But he's-
weird.
And
He
this
flew
would
to
have been
Kansas
a golden
City, didn't he?
opportunity for him. It sucks, man. I feel bad for the
Not
kid.
yet,
at the
but
end of
we
the day.
So
could.
do I. So do I. And you know what? You guys, I know we do this every year because we're Bears fans. We're partially biased and we get excited about everything. But I really felt like Zay Frazier, after watching the tape and listening to
He
what Coach
could be
said,
a stud.
yeah, like I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
this guy might
yeah.
be like the steal of the draft. This guy's legit.
Yeah.
Like nobody's looking at him because of the league he played in, but he could be very good. And then it's like, now he's not even going to be here. He's going to be redshirted. He won't play a single snap in 2025.
I don't think they're giving up on him though. They're going to keep him on this.
Yeah, I don't
roster
think so
going
either.
into
No,
next year. So
I don't think so either. All right, Sean.
If he makes the roster, they really like him, because most players up until this point, with what's happened in his tenure as a Chicago Bear,
well, no, he's just going to
would
be
not be on the active roster.
like Kyle just said, like Zach said, a redshirt year, and then next year hopefully start over fresh.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced once, has he? He doesn't have a
No.
single practice, does he?
No,
I don't
he's
think so.
practiced. He's practiced.
I don't think he has, man. I don't think he's had a single practice this
No,
offseason.
Zach just said they had him out on the golf cart that one day. He came
Dante,
out in
what
the
up?
field, and then they took him away, and he's
Yeah,
never been out there.
No, he's never actually
up there.
practiced in training camp. Was he there for mandatory minute for the rookies?
Guys,
Yeah, he was.
Does anyone-
He was there.
does anyone-
Remember, he took everybody out. They were all hanging out. He-
Yeah. They went out to like a restaurant or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
he's the
hotel
one.
banquet
He's the
room
one
and
who.
playbook
He's the
together.
one. He's the one who proposed as quizzing each other on the playbook in the
Yeah, that's
hotel room.
what Dustin was. All right, Sean, what do you got?
Yeah,
Wait, hold
well,
on. Did anybody
it
see the
wasn't-
results of that Vikings Colts trade? Was that a receiver? Did the Vikings get a receiver? The Vikings
No.
just made a trade. Schefter reported the Vikings and Colts made a trade, but he didn't. There's no
it
details.
wasn't. Bruce put it in the chat. It was.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, it was. What was that
Watch-
trade Bruce for the Vikings? It was in here somewhere.
I'm watching that Vikings team.
I saw Pickett got traded to the Raiders for a 5th-round pick. I think the Raiders greatly overpaid in that. Just-
I'm
Adding
with
him at all.
you there,
If they traded a football for him, they overpaid him. That Pickett sucks, dude.
a fucking washing machine. Yeah.
I
He's
can't
the-
find that.
He's
I can't find
he's
the
the
trade. I don't
first
think he
quarterback
just
in the
traded.
worst class.
And I hate
That's
to
all
say
he
this,
was.
man, but Johnny
What's
Walker
up,
looked
what's
good
up,
enough
John?
that if he gets dropped and the Vikings are looking for someone, we could be going against him in week 1.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny Walker.
I want Walker on this team.
You
I'm
need
gonna
to find a
be
way to
honest.
keep
I'm gonna
him
be
on your
clear about
team.
that. I want
yeah.
Walker on this fucking football team. I really
I
do.
agree, Sean. And
Yeah,
if you let him go to the practice squad and go through waivers, someone is gonna pick him up.
Someone's gonna take
And then another shout out to Dante Purify, because when everybody else was talking about JP Richardson, he came on here and said, "You guys, Jade Walker is the guy
Yeah,
you
he
should
did.
watch."
Yeah,
And
Dante-
Absolutely,
He-
Dante.
Dante, nice job, man. That guy has been an absolute fucking stud in the preseason. I mean, that game-winning touchdown. We can talk about that Chiefs game in a minute here after we get through all the Bears.
He's had like 6 catches.
Dude, that toe tap catch. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, there's no way that's a catch. And then I saw the replay. I'm like, oh my god,
I
that's
know
a catch.
I was like, that was a catch in real time. I was like, he fucking pulled that off, and then you saw the replay. Yeah, I mean,
me and Dustin, guys, I'm a little
Badass.
sad that Joe Wilson's not on this football team anymore.
yeah.
Well,
Joe
I was
Wilson.
gonna, I was gonna
And
try to
Walker
get
can
this out here.
levitate.
Let's let Sean get us
Yeah,
back on track.
we
here,
got
guys.
these the cuts today. Nobody that special to me. Obviously, Frazier moved to the NFI list. You had a developing story from Jeremy Fowler that the Bears are shopping Jordan McFadden. I'd like to talk about that here in a second. Trey Flowers, who sucks. Thank God he was released.
Thank God.
Royce Freeman was just a body. Joshua Mills, Ian
J2K.
Wheeler, disappointing. Austin
What's
Reed,
up,
I think.
J2K?
Yeah, I'm so glad Ian Wheeler is not on. I just knew that would be the case, and everyone wants to talk about how he could make the 53. It was never happening.
I wouldn't surprise me if he was a practice squad.
I think he'll be back.
That's what they're going to try to do. 100%.
I think Reed and Wheeler both will.
I don't think anybody's going to pick him up. No one's going to go after Wheeler.
Paul Eccles, Alex Cook, another guy who looked awful against Kansas City. Xavier Carlton, the UDFA that they signed. I don't even know who Millard Bradford was, so good riddance to him. But
I liked Carlton a little bit.
Not Millard Bradford.
Yeah, I don't even know who the fuck that guy is, dude. They also let go. The Northwestern product got cut. Thomas Gordon, Mark Perry, Samare Torre, Jeremy Walker, Swayze Bozeman, Chris Glazer. But I'm with you guys. The one guy that was a shock to me was Joel Wilson. I really liked him.
It's not a shock. It's not a shock.
I thought he would be late, and they would try and keep him.
I thought they'd keep him over Smythe.
Honestly,
I would have kept him
what
over
you
Smythe.
liked more out of Durham.
I would
Smythe,
prefer
who's
Wilson
gonna
or
make the
Smythe.
roster over Joel Wilson.
Well,
that's
because they gave him the contract.
That's
and
about it, right?
That's
So
really what it is. But
following
I would rather take the chance with Joel Wilson as my third tight end than Durham Smythe. Personally, we know what Durham Smythe is. Joel Wilson could turn into something for you.
My prediction is Joel Wilson will enter these waivers and wind up being in tight end 3 on somebody's roster.
Or he'll be on the Chargers and he'll take the job.
Yeah, because Tyler Conklin is the world's most average.
Dude, you guys don't like Oronde Gadsden?
I mean, I like him better than Tyler Conklin, who's listed as their starter right now.
So do I, and I don't even know who Oronde Gadsden is.
He's a rookie this year, right?
He's a rookie. Yeah. Oronde Gadsden III. His dad was a longtime NFL player for, I believe, the Dolphins, wasn't he?
And Houston drafted Lachey, right?
Well, Sean, let's hear your
class.
take on McFadden. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the Bears would be looking for McFadden. An average
a 7th?
I mean, didn't even know who he was until
an 8th.
Exactly.
8th round pick for him.
Yeah, but the Bears have done this. Like,
I'm just going to tell people it's Darren.
Almost every year Ryan Poles has been here, he's hung somebody out after the preseason as trade bait, and all of us are thinking to ourselves,
you're right.
Nobody wants that guy.
Thanks, Mikey, for being all logical about shit.
Well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Mikey.
Wouldn't you say if it's a guy you're trying if it's a guy you're trying to shop for a draft pick, wouldn't you think that this is a quality depth piece that you'd want to keep on your football team, or at least try and get back on your practice squad?
I don't know that he's really done anything in his career to justify him being a quality anything. I don't know how you get anything back for him in a trade. I don't know what you expect.
But J2K says McFadden had a great preseason. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I didn't keep my eyes on McFadden throughout the preseason. I would be lying.
Kyle.
He said all eyes were on
he held up well from
right guard in the second half. McFadden filling really well at left guard. Well, there's another thing. He obviously plays numerous positions, so that's one good thing about him.
Well, he had a 79 PFF for the preseason. He allowed 3 hurries and no sacks. And I forgot to look up the percentage of snaps that he played. So my bad.
Do you keep him over Murray though? Do you keep him over Bates? Do you keep him over
Luke? I'll tell you.
Yes.
When you're looking to
I can see it. That's another contract thing.
When you're looking to trade a player. So this is how you should analyze this too, is the Bears are wanting to trade this guy because they think that he's too good to just cut, and they're probably going to have to cut him. And if they think he's a good enough player, the Bears are okay to part with depth on the offensive line. Remember a year ago, guys, what this team was looking for as the season was
It's
starting.
a positive
with that
indicator. I
position.
get what you're saying,
right.
Brandon. But still, they're putting them on Facebook Marketplace, basically. They're like, I'm going to throw this on the side of the road.
Right,
and we
because
got to get $20
no,
for
the
it
only
before
reason
I
that's
do
even
that.
happening is they don't want to cut them.
And they
They
have
don't
no
wanna cut 'em.
leverage. They have no leverage because every other team in the NFL is thinking, well, if we just wait 5 days, you guys
We're
will cut
gonna
them
cut 'em.
anyway. So
He's
why
not
would
getting
we
traded.
trade
They're not
anything
getting
for
shit
it?
back for him.
Although, you know what? I'd give up a 5th-round pick for McFadden over Kenny Pickett. I can tell you that shit.
I don't know, man.
And
I don't know.
Kyle, maybe Kenny Pickett just raised McFadden's trade value.
Kenny Pickett's horrendous, awful.
I'm not giving you a 3rd-round pick.
Mike
Pickett's got
Mike
that.
Worth called Kenny Pickett's name out on our podcast on Saturday. He's like, that guy is horrendous.
Oh, that entire
good,
class.
good. I'm glad you went that way. I was like, oh, he's gonna say how good he was. Or Power
That
Echols
entire
is
QB
liked by
class
Mikey and
was
J2K.
insulting. That QB class was. I'm sorry, man. It was pathetic.
Dustin, Brennan, can I ask you guys a question real quick about something Mike North said on
Absolutely
Saturday? And it's just something that I thought was interesting. And Sean, maybe you can back me up here, but he said, you guys, if Ben Johnson had been the coach for the Chicago Bears 3 years ago today, he would not in any way, shape, or form gone after a guy like DJ Moore. He would not be on this roster. Do you guys believe that? Don't you think that DJ Moore could find a place in Ben Johnson's offense?
I don't think that makes any sense. I think you're looking at
when
Amon-Ra
he said
St.
that, I was like,
Brown. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's led that team in receptions.
it's
under
very
Ben
similar
Johnson.
skill
It's a
set.
very similar skill set.
I agree.
I don't see the logic.
Well, I
behind
think.
that,
I
to
mean,
be
is he?
honest.
What? Is there context? I mean, if I have Luther Burden and Roma Dunze, I'm not going. If I didn't have DJ Moore and I have the receivers on this team other than him, I wouldn't pursue him.
He's the punching bag dude on this fucking team. I swear to God.
DJ Moore's done some things to put himself in that position too. Let's be honest. But DJ Moore does get unfairly criticized. But at the end of the day, when you have Rome and Luther Burden, who me and Kyle agreed the other night will be the best receiving duo in Bears history when it's all said and done, a guy like DJ Moore does become expendable. And you'd rather get an asset back for him. You'd rather get an asset back for him than just letting him walk when his contract.
I'll give you an unpopular opinion. I mean, outside of the little touchdown catch and that one little 15-yard grab, I hate to say it, but Rome didn't really impress me this spring. I don't know what you
targeted.
Rome is gonna impress you this.
I hope he gets better because high pointing the ball is supposed to be his strength, and he didn't. He lost the ball. He dropped 3 balls in the preseason.
Yeah, he dropped a few. He did, however, Sean, have the most. He had the most targets collectively from Caleb Williams in the preseason, which says to me that your future star quarterback is going to be looking for.
They have
James.
Who do you look for the touchdown?
James, are you? I'm sorry, but we have to adjust this count real quick. James says Theo Benedette will not make the 53-man roster. Are you reading? Are you reading something that I'm not reading?
Yeah, are you just
everything I've read is Theo Benedette is loved by everybody on the coaching staff.
Hold on. I want to get back to that conversation real quick because. Sean, I think this. If Luther, and they wouldn't do this until Luther Burden had some time to play football, right? If Luther Burden comes out and he's the guy that you expect him to be, Sean,
sure.
And Rome is the guy he was drafted to be at top 10, and so, I mean, DJ Moore is obviously older than these two players.
Sure.
If a team were to be offering like a 2nd-round pick for DJ Moore by as early as next year. I think the Bears have to at least entertain that decision in order to allow Burden and Rome to be your full-time receivers on top of the fact that
Jade Walker
have the luxury of doing so.
I love DJ Moore, Sean. This isn't a knock against DJ Moore, and I don't think that there's trade rumors. The Bears aren't looking to trade him. DJ Moore is going to have a great season.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, it's just hypothetical in terms of if Luther Burden becomes what you expect him to be, and if Roma Dunze becomes what you expect him to be, then DJ Moore, that becomes too many mouths to feed in an offense as it is. And
he's the oldest.
And as Mikey pointed out, trade him for a legit left tackle. That 2nd-round pick could be that legit left tackle if you're able to move him for that. It's about maximizing your assets in my mind. That's
it's about you can't, if those two guys do what Justin just said, if they blossom into star receivers, you can't pay DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and Luther Burden $400 million collectively.
Yeah, no, you
what you guys are saying is right now with the development of Caleb Williams being so important, obviously Luther Burden still needs to learn a big chunk of this offense.
Oh, never mind.
so you guys are saying that it would be more likely. You think it'd be more likely that DJ Moore is traded next offseason?
Yeah, this year it ain't happening. I don't think that's
Yeah,
even a
no,
possibility.
they're not even going to take that phone call this year.
I mean,
But I
if
do
those
think
guys-
this, Kyle.
those
Kyle, I
guys-
think this. I actually proposed this in a text to you guys. I think like a year ago, and again, I love DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore has been the best player on this Bears offense, even last year, even with Caleb. I think that he's just been a consistently reliable player in the NFL since he was drafted. But if Burden and Rome become what you want them to be, and all there is to me in difference is age. Moore is just older. He's just as good. If they blossom into stars, he is a fucking star. He's a wide receiver 1. They're younger. If you guys had to choose between paying Luther Burden or trading DJ Moore after you'd seen Burden blossom into the player you want him to be, what are you going to do if you're Ryan Poles? You have to, in order to pay those 2 kids, you would probably likely have to move on from DJ Moore, and he'll be at a point where you're watching him walk away from your team anyways because his contract's close to up.
And in order to let them blossom into what they can be on the
potential
field.
buyout in
Yes, he's got
2028.
5 years left on his contract.
Yeah, he's got a potential buyout.
And Luther has 4. So that's what I mean. Their contracts will be due. Well, DJ's is expiring, not like the year of, but it'll be close.
That's a $28 million cap hit. So you're gonna have to
if you're Ryan Poles, guys, and you're worried about the future of your football team, you would pay those 2 kids and trade DJ Moore.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just.
But this offense is going to be spectacular with him in it
this year.
Yeah.
Tough offense.
I didn't say he was being traded at all.
And to your question, Kyle, that makes no sense to me. What you're saying, Mike North said that Ben wouldn't have gone after DJ Moore, especially when you consider that was the trade that got the number 1 overall pick. You know,
not to mention
you pulled a lot of good assets out of that trade.
And you picked the Panthers as your trade partner, so there wasn't that. If you wanted a skilled position player off that team, that was basically all.
Yeah, that was the best you were going to
get. Poles said that was the only way the trade was going to happen.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, DJ Moore was a big part of that trade.
In the conversation, but they weren't trading him to
DJ Moore is what made that
more for Brian Byrne.
That trade would have been done earlier. The Carolina Panthers kept saying no to Poles. We don't want to get rid of DJ Moore.
Right,
and Ryan Poles finally said it's Moore or nothing. Like that's what it is.
Let's get into this. Let's get into this Bears Chiefs game because I'm sure there's a lot of things you guys want to say about it. I mean, first and foremost, guys, first thing I want to say is I keep reading stuff on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook about how bad Caleb Williams looked. I mean, I understand that he started off slow, but look at the stat line. He actually had a pretty damn good. Like, if that's a bad game for him, I'll take that shit all day.
He had a pretty damn good preseason in general.
I think it was the look and the feel and the appearance.
It felt sloppy. It felt, clunky.
And the fumble in the first play of the game, I'm like, well, that's very Bearsy.
Well, they felt like an unprepared football team.
With bad timing, why would you open the game with that anyways? You're trying to trick them. I don't know. I personally didn't like the play call.
I don't know. Maybe Ben wanted to see them execute something like that in a high pressure situation before the season starts. You know, I mean, I think the good thing about
I wasn't impressed with it.
The thing that stood out to me the most that my first thought was like, this is a good thing for the Bears coaching staff to have this tape to beat the shit out of these players with for the next couple of weeks. It's a good thing, you know. You got
Ben said we're going to use it.
I said that before. That was what I was telling you guys when we were texting about the game. Like,
Phil, I'm taking
it's a damn good thing. This Bears team needed this. This coaching staff is gonna use it.
Yeah, this is adversity. This is adversity,
and it's like it's a simulated adversity because it doesn't really matter. But you need to see better execution in a lot of areas, and at least you got the tape to show to these guys and show them where they messed up and where they can get better. Yeah,
you can use it to get results, but it's not impacting you now.
From week to week, when you look at the Buffalo game and you saw that little out to DJ Moore, he picked up that sack and he got the ball out to the out. You go against Kansas City and you saw the exact opposite. So it just makes me get a little pause to say we're going to have these ups and downs, but when does he become more consistent with his reads? Stepping up in the pocket.
Well, Kansas City's a much better team. Well,
let's be realistic. The Bears are not on the levels of the Bills and the Chiefs. They played the 2 teams that played in the AFC Championship back to back, and like they're not on those guys' level. And the Bills didn't even play their starters. If
the Bears play the Chiefs or Bills week 1, they're getting their
asses kicked.
No doubt about it.
Sure. But you want to see something cleaner than what we saw. The offense looked like shit. The defense looked like shit. And now I will say this: you were missing most of your secondary. Yeah, and Tremaine Edmonds wasn't out there either. So you're missing.
Neither was
Gordon,
Grady
Johnson,
Jarrett.
Edmonds,
Joe Tooney.
Jarrett. You're missing some really big pieces. So it's not the be all end all. But this goes back to what I was saying last Monday when I take a look at this as a whole and say, holy shit, our depth really isn't that good, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because Kansas City did whatever they wanted. There was little resistance. That, to me, remains a problem. If we have
No, I'm with you, Sean.
I got
texted the
questions
same
about
thing.
starters on this defense, not just the depth. I got questions about these linebackers. I got questions about this front defensive line. I got questions about this front seven overall. Just
I got
the
big questions
starters, not
about-
just the depth.
Yeah, my least favorite signing this offseason was Deo, and I'm telling you guys, the more I watch, the more is left to be desired. He just doesn't look that good to me. He doesn't look like a very impactful player. Now, maybe he's like that Mark Anderson guy who gets opportunistic sacks, but he doesn't look like he's like impacting every play. And
He's not a
I
speed
think
guy
the
like that,
Bears signed him to be
Hey,
a
by the
guy
way,
that impacts
Hey,
every
by the
play.
way, Kyle, as you say that, Deo, the $48 million signing, guess who was shutting his ass down? Any
Simmons.
guesses, anybody?
Simmons.
Oh, the best left tackle in this draft that's going to be generational.
Well,
That
that's
begged the
good.
fucking Bears to draft in the first place.
Yeah, Simmons
God,
was stonewalling him. Simmons was stonewalling him. But what you can say about Deo is that he never quit on the play. He was always hustling. He was always pushing. His motor didn't stop. And he is good at setting the edge against the run, guys, which will be important for this defense. I did not expect him to be a sack artist for this defense. I think Austin Booker needs to be that guy, and Montez Sweat needs to be that guy. Deo needs to be.
Deo has to get some sacks.
Listen, he leave the season with 6 or 7 sacks.
He had listen. If he sets the edge against the run and helps this run defense become better than it was last season, I think that's a fucking win, guys. I think you got to look at that.
But there's other guys you could have got who could do that, and you probably pay less. I think they
like a
expect more from
DeMarcus
him.
Walker, maybe.
No, Marcus Walker wasn't doing it last year, Brandon. He wasn't doing it at all.
Yeah, I also want to talk about real quick, and this is the same thing we've heard for the last 5 years, guys. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it. And the Bears defense looked bad against the Chiefs offense. But man, at some point, the NFL needs the Chiefs got away with everything. I mean, two more false starts not called, holding on multiple plays by the offensive line. Like, listen, I understand that Patrick Mahomes is the NFL's darling, but this is getting ridiculous. Did you guys see the hit on Demarcus Robinson when he was engaged in a block?
Yep. He got blocked from behind.
He just they came and
Montez
just
Sweat
that's a
got blocked
penalty,
from
man.
behind, dude.
That is a penalty, guys. That's in the NFL by definition. That is a penalty. But it seems like the Chiefs can do no wrong. Like it just seems like they can do no wrong.
Dante agrees with me about
that opening drive. He pushed that right tackle right into Mahomes, and what did that guy do? He grabbed Sweat shoulder, spun him around. Sweat's like, dude, what the fuck? And no call, completed pass. That was bullshit.
Well, Sweat can keep doing that, and it's not going to do nothing for him. He needs to get after the quarterback.
We've talked about
maybe if he's not playing the
Chiefs. Was there. He was held.
Yeah.
We've talked about this defensive to nauseam, guys. It's not as good as people want it to be. It's not, and it's not as good as on paper to me. I told you it's a bottom 10 unit, and I think they're going to look somewhere near there. We don't have what the Bears need.
I'm going to hold out.
It wasn't a bottom 10 unit last year, and
I'm going to hold out judgment.
And we all expect Austin Booker to be better. Dustin just said Deo's going to help with the run. Grady Jarrett's here. He hasn't played yet. I mean, they should be better than bottom.
Javon Dexter is going to have a good season. I believe that. And
okay,
Dennis Allen.
All of those things you just said are based on hope.
Dennis Allen is the key. No, Dennis Allen is not hope. Dennis Allen is a certified defensive play caller, has a great resume in the NFL, and he will get the most out of these guys. I don't have a doubt about that. Whether it'll be good enough for your liking, Brandon, I don't know about that.
It's not.
But they're going to have to manufacture pressure. Like they're not going to win a lot of one-on-ones, and that's going to end up being a problem at some points against certain offenses for sure. They're going to have to take chances to get pressure on the quarterback the way it's looking. I think so.
Hey, Dante, that was Dan Niederer today.
You guys, the good news out of that game.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Get cut.
Yeah, that's
Big
ridiculous.
I highly.
He did retweet Brad Biggs' tweet. So that was Brad Biggs who said that, but I think.
Are you sure?
Almost positive, but I think he's just saying that to be like, hey guys, if there was one really big surprise cut and a 2% chance of happening, it would be Andrew Billings because he doesn't fit the scheme. But that's not going to happen because they don't have enough depth at the defense. If they had like a bunch of badass, if they had Jalen Carter and somebody else and Aaron Donald, then yes, he would probably be cut. But that's not going to happen with this Bears roster.
Well, I think
he is.
And the interior D line is the strength of this defense. You can't hurt that. I don't think.
He's not going anywhere.
And I think Dennis Allen has intent on moving Billings around a little bit. I think
he has intent on moving a lot a guys around.
Guys, I like what J2K says. He says if they were Shop McFadden, I think that they would find a trade partner for Billings. Like, they wouldn't just cut him. They'd be like, anybody want Billings for a 6th-round pick? And Billings can get you a 5th or 6th-round pick. He is still a good player in the NFL.
I like that he's shouting out Newman. The interior O-line has looked very good.
Newman looked really well.
Newman has looked. Did you see that clip I sent you of him?
You're spot on,
driving the guy?
Luke Newman has been
the best offensive lineman on the field.
My favorite thing from this preseason, from this entire camp, the product that Luke Newman has been on the field, probably heavily part to do with Dan Rochar as well, because the kid was a 6th-round pick for a reason. Wasn't as well-rounded as he looks today because of their coaching.
Yeah, I brought up Tooney moving to the left tackle, and I don't want that. And I brought it up to Zach just as, did you think it could happen? But like a part of me kind of wants it to happen, so Luke Newman can start at left guard.
Well, maybe he can just
put Tooney at left tackle, put Newman at left guard.
Maybe if Jonah Jackson struggles, he could be your right guard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, or if there's a
Jonah Jackson gets hurt, you mean?
Yeah.
Or if the patterns continue and he's out by week 5. It is good to know that we have a capable backup guard. And you guys, I like Bill Murray too.
I was going to say, I think we got a couple.
Bill Murray only has room to grow. He just started playing guard in the NFL like 2 years ago.
Yeah, the left tackle. We've talked so much about the left tackle, and we know it's the Achilles heel of this team, and it could derail this whole season. We've talked about it a lot, but this offensive line overall just is so vastly improved, guys.
I'm with you,
That's
James.
a really good feeling.
Drew Dahlman's been awesome. Joe Tooney's going to be awesome. He doesn't need practice.
And you know what? As we were asking Zach about resilience of this team and this team not giving up, I know it was a preseason game, but you saw that.
Oh, for sure, Sean. That's huge.
You know? Yeah.
That's huge.
It's the Bill Murray picture.
Because we've read mainstream media. We have read mainstream media terrorize Caleb Williams all offseason. He looked much worse to me than he did in Buffalo. And that wasn't the headline, Sean. The headline after this preseason game was the comeback, the resiliency of a football team that was down to its 4 stringers. No, I think you're 100% correct. I think that made a statement.
Yeah, me too. It made me feel good inside to see this team fight back like that and come up. And I didn't even care. I was cheering in my living room like it was week 5.
Agent was balling out, man. And Joel Wilson was great on that drive. Yeah. Walker, Scott made a couple big plays.
It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And I don't care.
Yeah, it means something to them, guys. It means something to them.
Exactly. It does.
It means something to them.
Well, it means something to me. It means the culture is shifting. There was no quit, even in 4 stringers. Guys, John A. Walker, that was the greatest moment of that guy's life. Honestly, it showed a lot. It showed a response to adversity. It did. In a minor way, it did. And Sean, the one thing that you said earlier that I agree with you too. We talked about Caleb. The anticipation was almost gone.
Yeah.
And against Buffalo, he saw everything before it happened. And you could tell in Kansas City, he was waiting for guys to be open again. Yep. So I think this could be a bit of a roller coaster early in this season for how Caleb responds to Ben Johnson's offense.
And that's been the story of Caleb. He struggles in man-to-man coverage.
We got to get to this.
He's a lot better in zone.
If he is a see it, throw it guy this season, guys, it's not going to go well. Anticipation needs to be there. And like you said, he did it in Buffalo, so we know he's capable of it. And one point I wanted to make just about the Tyson Bagent thing. Good for him getting the extension and then going and leading that game-winning drive. Yeah. I was not high on Tyson Bagent. I was not high on this backup quarterback situation. He has completely changed my mind, and I think a huge part of that, guys, is Ben Johnson. Just in a short time, the amount of improvement he's gotten out of Tyson Bagent and gotten the buy-in into this system from him, it's amazing. And we've seen a lot more of Tyson Bagent in this preseason, guys, than we've seen of Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams has clearly improved from his last preseason. I am really excited to see that kind of effect that Ben Johnson is going to have on Caleb Williams. Because if he's having it on Tyson Bagent, he's definitely fucking having it on Caleb Williams, guys. Just think about that. Tyson Bagent's improvement, I'm crediting a lot of it to Ben Johnson.
I like what Scrolls here says, guys, because I don't know if you guys watched the routes I know DJ Moore's only running the routes he's told to run, but that first drive, DJ Moore was not getting open. I mean, they showed them downfield. They showed every single
nobody was getting
receiver.
open.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't
mean,
just
Well, there
DJ
was
Moore.
one play
you
where,
you can't just blame everything on Caleb. These receivers, I mean, DJ Moore just got $110 million. Like, bro, you need to get open. You need to get open. That's what you're
there
supposed to
was
be our
one play
security.
where Adam Amin said that absolutely nowhere to go.
They showed all the receivers and
Well,
everyone.
Caleb has to get rid of the ball, guys.
Here we go.
He's got to get rid of the ball.
DJ Moore again. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, well, Caleb's got to be smart with what he does with the
Yeah, but
ball.
Sean, he's the $110 million. He's the security.
It
blanket.
doesn't matter.
He's the professional.
Rome Odunze is the
He's one-
prodigy. That's the best receiver on
Well,
the team.
Rome
Get
Odunze
the
has
fuck
an
open.
excuse. He's young and he's learning a new offense in his second year. DJ
no,
Moore's
there's no
played in the
excuse.
NFL
I don't
for
think
10
there's any
years.
excuse for anybody.
DJ
Get
Moore's
open.
learning a new offense as well.
I think this offense is going to be firing.
It's
on
always
all
on DJ
cylinders
Moore.
by the
I
time,
don't
like
understand.
Zach was
Did I
saying,
ever
guys.
say it was always on DJ Moore. All I'm saying is for all the guys in the roster who have played in the NFL for a long time, the guy that I think Caleb Williams expects to be open most often is the NFL veteran who's played in the NFL for 10 years and has gotten all open often.
But who
Kyle, he
did
can't hold on to
who did Brandon just say he's targeted more than anybody in this preseason? He's not even looking at DJ Moore. He's looking at Rome Odunze.
There's the
So Rome
connection there with Rome.
earn the money of being a top 10 pick and get your ass open. And when he throws you a ball,
Everybody get
when he
open.
throws you the ball against
He's going.
with contention, high point it, grab it, don't drop it. How about that? Rome
Rome's gonna
Odunze
snap.
has not been
Rome is gonna have a
Odunze that
damn
everyone
good
thinks
season,
he's
son.
supposed to be in this preseason.
Okay,
And
it's
the proof is in the pudding. Just
preseason.
watch it.
It's preseason.
Yeah,
That's
but you watched
exactly
him
what it
last
is.
year. He looked good as a rookie.
Yeah, Rome was getting open a
Thing is,
lot
you guys
last
keep
year.
saying DJ
And-
Moore is Amon-Ra St. Brown in this offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown is open constantly,
He's
Constantly.
He's
Always.
schemed open.
all the
Well,
time.
guys, first,
Open.
this is not going to be the same offense that Ben Johnson ran in Detroit. Like that, that's very important for us to understand.
I'm not
He
worried
did not
about
have
him.
he did not have these weapons like he has here in Chicago and Detroit. I mean, Detroit had a damn good offensive line and two really good running backs and one really consistent receiver and another one that had to come along, and Jamison Williams. They started breaking things open. The Bears have a completely different personnel here, a completely different style of quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see what Ben Johnson rolls out, because what we're looking at, guys, in these preseason games is not his offense. It's not the offense that the Bears will be running in the regular season. Rome is going to have a goddamn good season. I assure you that. DJ Moore is going to have a good season as well. Caleb Williams needs to take responsibility, though, for making the right decision with the ball in his hands, guys. He can't be holding the ball for 5 seconds, and he's got to just dirt it if he needs to. Get it, throw it away, move on to the next play. Caleb needs to stay working within the offense, stay on time. That is the biggest key to the offense this year, and Ben Johnson knows it, and that's what he's working his hardest at. Like you said, it could be a roller coaster ride. A couple of
Yeah, I mean,
for some weeks here.
I think it's become pretty obvious at this point that when Caleb, you're at 3, 4, 5 seconds in that pocket, and nothing's on. It's time to abandon the play. Like you got to stop.
Did you hear
the
Ben
skill,
Johnson?
like,
Did
it's
you guys
time.
hear Ben Johnson cut? The reporter was asking him.
Yeah,
Caleb had about
that's
5
good protection.
seconds. That
That's good
sounds like good
protection.
protection to me.
Yeah.
Yes, Ben
You
Johnson
guys-
is
you
holding
guys-
Caleb accountable for this, guys. He needs to.
100%.
That's what Caleb
should.
should.
J2K says I'm keeping up plenty of hope and expectations for Rome, but I do expect more for where he was drafted. Like, listen,
That's all I'm saying.
when you're watching
That's
that
all I'm saying.
preseason game and you're seeing players who
E-Dog,
have been
I'm
on
out.
this roster,
I'm not
you're seeing
overreacting.
the failures of individual players. There are guys who I concern myself
I'm not
with.
concerned
Braxton
about
Jones, watching him. When I
Braxton
see
Jones
Rome,
whiffing in that block, whiffing on that block.
ask yourself inside, like
That was rough.
deep inside yourself, are you concerned about Rome Odunze when you watch the preseason? Like, I have no
No,
concern.
I'm concerned about Braxton Jones going to block the wrong guy and letting.
Yeah,
the
no,
pressure
that's what I
come
mean.
right
There are
up the
things that
fucking middle
I'm
to Caleb
concerned.
Williams.
Listen, I'm
That's what
concerned
I'm
about the
concerned
defensive
about.
line. I watch it and I'm concerned. I'm more concerned today than I was last week about the defensive line. When I watch Rome Odunze and he drops the ball, and he did it, but like I just don't have that feeling. I think he'll be
Guys,
fine.
You saw what Braxton did on that play. That's a big concern, man.
Well,
When
twice,
everyone
Justin.
else
He got
knows
beat
what
inside twice.
everyone else
We
knows what the
don't have
play
a left
is.
tackle on this
Yeah,
football team. And the
that's-
best left tackle just might be Theo Benedette, and the Bears are going to have to pull that trigger. I mean, if
I
you
think
go
they
by-
will eventually.
If you go by what was
Erica's
done
in
in
a
the
Erica's
Erica's
in a
on
mood
fire.
tonight.
Benedette
Yeah.
was the best.
She's in a mood tonight. She says Corral was an absolute joke of a draft pick.
And
Absolutely.
it makes you wonder about the Ozzie Trapillo pick, guys. When you look at
Doesn't make
last
me
year, it makes me wonder because you drafted Karan in the 3rd round last year, thinking
I
you were
didn't
smarter
want
than everybody
I didn't want
else.
either of them.
Right. Well, I'm talking about what happened, Sean.
It feels eerily similar.
It feels very similar to this same pick
I
this year.
understand,
and
but
this
you're
guy,
also
he
and
could
I-
be a
and I'm
cut.
I'm not
A
trying to
year
be
later?
I'm just going to be the devil's advocate here. Like people keep saying polls. But you guys, everybody, Ben Johnson has gotten credit for every good draft pick this draft. Like people are like, oh, he picked Loveland, he picked Burden, he picked Kyle Monaghan.
No, Ben
You guys,
Johnson.
then
Ben
he
Johnson.
also needs to be held accountable for the bad draft. He was involved in every draft pick. That also means he was involved in Ozzie Trapillo. That's not just, it was a team effort, right? So everybody in that front office and Ben Johnson, the coaching staff, all need to be held accountable for every draft pick going forward.
Who gets held accountable for last year? Because when you took Torrey Taylor,
Sean,
Buck
I'm not
Irvin
making
was
this
still
a
sitting on the
conversation. I'm not
board.
making this a conversation about Ryan Poles. We've hammered that nail so many times. It's not even worth talking about anymore. But all I'm saying is you can't be like Ben Johnson's
No,
awesome.
DJ,
Rupert Burden and
not
Colson
calling
Lovin
Ozzie
look
Trapillo a
amazing.
bad pick.
But Ben
Yeah, we
Johnson
gotta address
also
this.
he had nothing to do with that Ozzie Trapillo pick. That's not his fault. That's right.
I called it a bad pick. I didn't want Ozzie Trapillo.
Well, listen, we can't.
I didn't want Ozzie Trapillo.
Let's be
I'll be
clear.
very clear. I did call it a bad pick. I didn't want the fucking guy.
All right,
Ben
well, I'll be
Johnson
clear
and
right
I
Ryan
now.
wanted
Poles had a
Antonio
bad pick.
Ursary, who's tearing it up at left tackle right now. I
I'll
was
be clear.
pounding the table for that.
Ariante
DJ,
Ursary, yes.
DJ,
But
I'm
listen,
with you. I don't
we'll be
think
clear.
he's a bad pick yet.
Yeah, we'll be clear. We are not writing off Ozzie Trapillo right now. It's
not at all,
concerning that he's a
anyway,
backup
sure.
right tackle at this point in this, but he is still a rookie. He has not played a snap of real football. He could end up being the starting left tackle for this team in the middle of this season.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson has said repeatedly, this could change, and
He could end up being the
I
best left
expect it.
tackle
And
on
you
this
have to
football
use-
team.
Yeah.
And you have to use the same logic for these guys to everybody else. We've all heard people say Josh Allen was written off after Sam Darnold was written off. Geno Smith was written, like all these guys have been written off in the NFL and they end up being
Some
very
of
good
them
players in
were
the NFL.
actually, yeah.
You got to give everybody in the NFL. Like you heard Zack Pearson
3
say it.
years.
You heard
3
Ben
years.
Johnson say it. By year 3, if you're
3
not
years.
a good player in the NFL, you're in trouble. So let's give everybody some time before we decide. The jury is out on Zay Frazier. The jury is out on Ruben Hippolyte. The jury is out on Kyle Monaghan. The jury is out. We have to wait for all these guys. This is a transitioning.
Well,
from
hopefully we don't have to
college
wait for
football
all of them.
NFL
Hopefully
is
some of them
insane.
have an impact this season, Kyle.
Yeah,
Like,
and
hopefully
those are the stars
Colston
drafted
Loveland
in the
does,
first
Luther
round,
Burden
right?
does.
Yeah, like
Well,
first
so I can
round,
be
Kyle
clear.
Monaghan.
second round
So
picks.
so I can be clear because I know this could come back to haunt me later. I think Trapillo was a bad pick because you were drafting him out of position. Draft the position and stop trying to play musical chairs and make people something that they're not.
Poles
That
trying
is
to be
a
smarter
typical
than everybody
old
else.
Bears
Poles and
bullshit.
his coaching
Yeah.
staff. Yeah.
Trying to be smarter than everybody else, thinking you found a hidden gem. You know, I agree with you, Sean. You're drafting on projection. You're like hoping that you can move him.
You're
That
agreeing
was
with what I said.
That was my initial reaction as well.
That was mine
Right
too.
now,
Dog,
that's
I
what's
just-
playing
yeah.
out. Right now,
I
that's what's
just-
playing out. But that
I
doesn't
just-
mean that's how
more
it
of a
plays out. That's not
collaboration.
the story's not written.
Now here, if he winds up taking Darnell Wright's job, that's a whole nother story. Because I saw some
That's
people in
not-
the chat
That's a
saying,
giant indictment on Ryan Poles as
That's
well.
a big
guys.
problem.
Yes.
But
All right, guys, we're getting too we're going too far down the line. Let's talk about what's going to happen with the Bears in 4 years. Like right now, the jury's out on Ozzie. I think these needs to be developed. I think that they were drafted him hoping he could be left tackle. They were like, you know what, maybe he can be, but not yet. They're going to give him some time in backup roles. They're going to see what he is as a swing tackle, see what he does on the right side, see what he does on the left side, and it's going to be a project. But I'm certainly not writing off Darnell Wright yet. I'm not writing off Ozzie.
I'm not
I'm
writing off
anybody.
Darnell Wright. I'm
And
saying,
V-Dog says, Kyle, this is more of a collaboration than it was with Flus. I just said that. I just said Ben Johnson has a lot to do with
we've
these
been
draft
saying
picks.
that,
He deserves
yes.
just as much blame as
Ryan Poles.
Poles.
Ryan Poles needed that football mind to be in his ear when it comes to these personnel decisions. A guy who has a clear plan and strategy for what they want to do with their team. He did not have that. So I mean, him having that now is an advantage. These picks should be better because of it. Free agent acquisitions should be better because of it. Trade should be better because Ben Johnson knows what he wants and he's telling Poles, "This is what I need. Can you go get me that?"
100%.
Samo back with us. What up, man?
Dante, really quick.
What's going on,
I'm
Samuel?
placing emphasis on picks outside the top 40 because that's how you build a roster. When
That's
you
where you
look
build your
at
depth.
championship
Yep, that's where-
teams, that's where they build their depth. They
Yep.
build through the draft, like Ryan Poles said on day one when he got the job here in Chicago. And as we sit here now, we're talking about another third round pick that's on the roster bubble. This is not how you build a championship team.
No, you
look
need
at
those
the
guys
Eagles,
to
one goes down, the
have
next
some staying
star
power.
steps up.
Yeah, you need staying power with those picks. You need
Yeah,
staying
if
power.
if Valus Jones, Zach Pickens, Karana
Sometimes
Magazi,
it feels to me like certain people give Ryan Poles all this grief when it comes to certain things, but they're never willing to talk. Like, yeah, he messed up. He drafted Karana Magazi. He messed up when he drafted a bunch of offensive line, but he also got Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, and I mean all those guys. He's the
Joe
one.
Tooney's going to retire in 2 years, Kyle. How does that help us?
What do you mean? It's
What?
2 years of
Hopefully it
developing your
helps us win a
quarterback
couple
with
games
good
over the
Well,
next
that's
2
progression.
years.
but that
Yeah.
is why you build through the draft. So you
Exactly.
So you can
sustain
replace
And
him.
Luke,
Yeah.
and you guys, and
You
Luke Newman is
sustain
probably
long-term
Joe
success.
Tooney's backup, and all you guys are doing is gushing about
hope
Luke
so.
Newman. So he
Yeah,
has your
Luke
starting
Newman will
left tackle
certainly
and your
be your
backup.
Hey,
starting
and
left guard
number
at
two,
some point.
Starting
Dante
left guard and
Purify.
backup
Go
left
look at the 2 All-Pros in the 4th round that the
Well,
Pittsburgh Steelers
well,
took
most
last year.
most
One of them
importantly,
was a
though,
center who was an
most
All-Pro who allowed like
most
one
importantly, guys, and Kyle,
So-
you have some perspective here because and Ryan Poles.
We talking about Frazier? Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah,
If
he's a
you
beast.
if you now
I
get rid
wanted
of
that guy.
if Pickens,
Yeah.
Velus Jones, and Karan are gone, you find me another GM that has cut all 3 of their 3rd round
Thank
draft
you.
picks in the last
Thank you.
3 years.
That's not on
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, and that's not on
Yeah,
Matt
that's a
Eberflus.
problem for
That's
sure.
on one guy.
You guys, we've talked about you guys are it's the same conversation over and over and over with you guys. Like we understand that. What I'm saying is if you can talk about draft picks, you can talk about free agency moves, you can talk, if the Bears are good in 2026, which obviously they should get a pass in 2035, and you guys all said it. We're not looking at the win-loss record, right? We're looking
Okay,
at the
man,
development of Caleb
Looking
Williams.
at
So
the
if in
development of the roster.
2026, if they're a very good team, I don't give a shit how they became a good team. He's the first GM to give the Bears a good team in 10 years. That's
Okay,
my
but Kyle, that's
my
kind of
end
rich
point.
coming from
That's
you
what I'm
because
saying.
you have had the biggest concern about the left tackle, and you continues to say,
Sure, but Vernon, that
continue
was
to say,
partly Ben Johnson. Sean just said he could have drafted
No,
Josh
I know,
Simmons over
but you
Colston Loveland
continue
if he
to
wanted
say-
to. He decided against it.
okay, hold on, but you continue to say they haven't addressed the position. They have, and
They've
they're
just
not
done
doing
it
it well.
incorrectly.
So
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Ryan Poles,
Vernon, when you're talking-
has done so far has put them in the
Vernon,
hole at the position you're concerned
Yeah.
most
Vernon,
about.
third round
Yep.
picks are hit or miss picks. You just said it
Okay,
last
so-
week. Sky Moore was the second round pick for the best organization in football, who's won 3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. He just got traded.
When you look
He
at
just
the
got
Chiefs, when
traded,
you look at the
guys.
Chiefs in
That was a
totality,
bad pick.
you
That was a
found-
bad
you
pick
found
by the
the-
Chiefs.
Kyle, you found the one pick in the last 5 years that didn't work out for them. They just re-signed their
Sean,
entire
how
draft
long?
class from 4 years ago, dude.
Sean, who
Hey,
is the
listen,
guy who picked their entire draft
hey.
class 4 years ago? Ryan fucking Poles.
Every team, listen,
Hey,
guys.
Ryan Poles picked their draft class. Then why don't they fucking suck here, Kyle?
Sean, 4 years ago.
Guys,
Guys, it's hard to
let's
hear you.
reel it
It's
in.
hard-
Let's
You
hard
said
to
reel
hear
four
it
years
in.
ago.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You used that number, Sean. You used the number 4, not me. 4 years
I
ago,
can tell you
Ryan
this
Poles
right
made
now.
that
I
draft
can
class.
tell you this right
Yes,
now.
and Ryan Poles is hopefully building the same
maybe
thing
a
here.
part, but was
Yes.
not the integral part of that Chiefs room because he was not the fucking GM and he
Sean,
was
this is
not the
one-
goddamn
Sean, but
coach.
this
Well, yeah,
is once
obviously
again,
Deitch is
you're
one
going
of the
too
best
far to the
GMs in
other
NFL
side.
history.
You're going
Yeah,
too far to
Deitch
the other
is one of-
side. This is Justin said it last week. You do tend to
J2K.
say everything bad
Yeah.
is Ryan Poles'
Get your
fault.
popcorn
Everything
ready.
good is credited to
J2K,
him.
send me
You
some.
do that, man. You do. I'm sorry, dude, but you do.
The bad,
It's a
the
bias.
bad. What
It's a
bad? Ben
bias.
Johnson's been here for not even 10 months. All the other
Yeah,
bad
guys.
is connected to Ryan Poles.
Well, Ryan
Listen.
Poles got Ben Johnson here.
But there's some good too, guys.
Hey guys, hey. That's,
Got Ben
Hey,
Johnson
we're-
here.
We're not going to be able to
Poles.
understand
He
what
got
y'all are
Ben
saying,
Johnson
guys.
yeah, I can't
He
hear
got
not-
Ben
yeah,
Johnson here, guys. He's the one who got. We had this discussion last
Jalen
week.
Carter killed somebody.
He
Okay.
got Ben Johnson here. He's the one who did that. So you have to give him credit for that. Even if you don't like him, you have to be like, but he did get Ben Johnson here. He did. So he is fixing his
I call
fault.
him for his successes and his failures.
Kyle,
He had
you
no
can be
failures.
critical of Ryan Poles without claiming he's a bad GM.
Well, let
That's
me
all
ask
Yeah,
I'm
you
no,
guys-
obviously Ryan Poles just got an extension, guys. So
Yes,
he has
and-
some time here
That's
to
coming from the
prove
Chicago
whether
Bears. Still
And
doesn't
you
hold a lot
guys-
of
and
weight.
he has some time here to prove whether or not he's
How
a good
long
GM
was
or
this
not.
original contract with the Bears, guys?
It was
How long was
three-
the original contract with the original
it
contract with
3
the Bears?
years or 5?
They never
Was it
said it.
5?
It was 4
They
years.
never told
Oh,
us.
4-year contract.
They
So
never told us.
if
Everyone's
they
been trying to figure that out in the media.
if
No
they
one knows
originally
his
signed
contract.
him, if they originally signed him for 4 years, they're like, right, you have 4 years to make this team good. How are we judging? I mean, listen, I understand judging each individual move he's made, but if you're judging the success of the team before the 4th year, the year that they were like, hey, we've given you 4 years, you got 4 years.
Brandon,
To do
if
By
sorry, Kyle,
2025,
if
this
you
team
got
better
3
be
years,
better.
if you got 3 years of a losing record though, and you're going into your 4th year, you're not turning that around.
That's
you're
not
not
right.
becoming a winning record.
And it got
every
worse last
year.
year.
Right. And you guys,
It's
worse.
not happening. So,
and you guys, once again, you're like,
I
they
thought
got
it was
worse.
5 as
Well,
well,
then part of the blame goes on Caleb Williams. He was here last year, guys. This is your fucking savior.
Yes,
was
the
here
blame
last
goes.
year.
The blame goes in
He
a
gave
lot
him
of
Keenan
places,
Allen. He
man.
gave
But
him
one
Roman-
of those
he gave
places
DJ Moore,
This
Roman
is a
Ryan
Wilson.
strange conversation to be having in this way when we're about to go into a season that we should all be pretty damn excited about.
Yeah,
from my perspective,
I am very excited about it because the roster.
I think we have to give this some time. At the end of the day, as you said, Kyle, Ben Johnson came here, and Ryan Poles was an integral part of making that happen. You got to give credit where it's due. So now Poles gets his extension because of that. So this team is obviously bought into him. You can question what the Bears do because the Bears have made a lot of crazy fucking decisions throughout our lives watching them.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay, so let me finish though, right? We got to see. Ben Johnson is what a guy like Ryan Poles needed, in my mind. Ben Johnson is the man with a plan who can, Ryan Poles could not have been set up for more failure than he was coming on as the GM of this team. You got to take the job. Obviously, you're gonna take the job. You got an opportunity. But like Matt Eberflus is who you're tied to, and you're taking over a terrible cap situation and a fucking depleted roster in terms of talent that you got to take more out of, and you got to strip it down to nothing. He wasn't put in, and your boss is meddling in your shit.
Ted Phillips. Your boss was Ted Phillips. When he got here, his boss was Ted Phillips.
So he has what he needs. If we don't see this pay off in the next 2 years, I'm completely out on Poles. I've been a big critical.
Sure,
but he has done things in the last year that have given me. I'm going to have a little perspective. I'm going to have a little patience. I want to see if this translates to wins on the field because that's what it boils down to. Right now, Poles is a fucking loser. He needs to turn that around. He needs to flip that narrative. If he needs to be gone. And Ben Johnson will stay, guys.
If he does, if he turns it around and the Bears win a Super Bowl under Ryan Poles as the GM, are you happy or unhappy that Ryan Poles is the GM of the Chicago Bears?
Well, could the Bears be going into his possible Super Bowl season this year if he had made a move from Matt Eberflus a year ago?
This season, putting a brand new scheme in with Ben Johnson?
Well, no, he would have had it a year ago.
Well, Ben Johnson,
could they be competing now?
Ben Johnson was not going to be coach last year. You have to take everything into account. He came out and said that. I didn't.
Right, but there's other good coaches
being a head coach in the NFL this year, and then they wouldn't have Ben Johnson.
Okay.
And they wouldn't have Ben Johnson if they didn't have Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ryan Poles. So this is a big old chicken or the egg conversation. We have the roster we have.
Caleb Williams still has a shit.
Well, but we're expecting him to, right?
There's a lot of I's to dot and a lot of T's to cross, and there's
100%. That's on your coaching staff
right now. I'm
That's
still
on your
not seeing the
coaching
light
staff.
at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, but Sean, when you're talking about the talent, Sean, when you're talking about the talent that was added to this team this offseason and last, in terms of Caleb Williams, Roma Odunze, the entire Ryan Poles has done his job to get talent onto this roster compared to what it was, correct?
And a good coach.
Sure.
And so now you got the coach.
Sure.
It's on the coaching. It's on the coaching to get that out of Caleb Williams at this point. Because Caleb Williams was the can't miss. You got to take this guy number one. Ryan Poles put the team in a position to get that guy, right? So now Ben Johnson needs to get it out of him. Yeah, and that's the next step.
Justin, like you just said, what'd you say about when Ryan Poles got to the Chicago Bears? The first year he got to the Chicago Bears.
Completely bereft of talent, needed to strip it down to bare bones.
Anybody who
Matt Eberflus who has no idea what he's doing
to go have 10 wins, you're an idiot.
All right. Number one, I know what the fuck Ryan Poles walked into. Okay. I know exactly what he walked into.
Worst organization.
And I knew exactly what he tore down. But when I look at the depth on this team, I see good starters. When they get hurt, we are in trouble because I watched top talent walk right through our reserves on Friday night like they weren't even on a football field. That should be concerning to everybody because if it's not, if we sustain injuries, this thing's going to get ugly quick.
Okay, but Sean, you got
it's getting better. You guys just talk about Luke Newman.
4 years of not adding depth to your team is a big problem.
The offensive line is clearly
this is the fourth year.
The offensive line depth.
So you don't know what the fourth year brings yet. You don't know yet because we haven't seen.
He had a chance to bring in talent
across the lowercase
deep depth. He has not done that, and we'll find that out during the season.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Ryan Poles.
It's going to be.
It's going to be very interesting, and this conversation is going to be.
Sean, they're playing the Chiefs.
Bears in the playoffs next year.
Regardless of the preseason or not, you're playing the Chiefs.
You should still look like a competent football team.
100%. But they did in certain. But Sean. They did in certain aspects. That offensive line held up. The reserve offensive line. Yeah, the Tyson Bagent looked great.
Won them the game.
The backup Luther Burden looked good. Fucking Jade Walker looked good. The offensive line, reserves and starters looked pretty damn good, man. There were some good things too in terms of competing with a championship team. Again, it's preseason.
Depth. And our depth was better than their depth.
We can't overreact one way or the other, man.
When the Chiefs were trying and all their starters were out there, the Bears were.
It was 20-3.
Sean, whose depth was better? Whose depth was better on Sunday or on Friday? The Bears or the Chiefs? Whose depth was better? No, second stringers and third stringers.
Because they were better run organization.
Well, there's second stringers and third stringers. Who was the better second string, third string offense and defense on the field?
Nice
It was the
After
Bears.
the starters left, the Bears dominated them.
It was the Bears.
They scored
It was the Bears.
three touchdown drives in the second half, man. The Chiefs' depth did not look very good on Friday. It did not. They allowed the Bears to win the game. They wanted to win that game.
Again, there's positives and negatives to take out of it. I think that when we look at this 53-man roster, Sean, when it's all said and done, and I know you have some projections on what you think it's going to be, I think it's clearly improved from last year. And you're clearly improved on your coaching staff. So you do.
I don't disagree with any of that.
Okay, so like then where does the patience?
Don't know that the Bears are still that much better with what they have here, because what has been here is still here. You have you added Colston
I've
Loveland.
been saying that. Yeah.
You added Colston Loveland, and all of a sudden the Bears are so much better. He's a tight end in the NFL. Tight ends usually take 3 years to acclimate at their position in this
Not
league.
lately.
And
Not
I know
lately.
you guys expect them to have 1,000 yards and 500 touchdowns this year, but I just don't see that happening either. I see him
it's
being
not out of the
the
range of
offense, who
possibility.
also dropped
500
the ball
touchdowns, at least
against the Chiefs.
487.
I said 400. I said 400.
Hey, what are you saying? That Colston Loveland's the only guy here that they added? Like, I'm confused.
They added Ozzie Trapilo, who's not going to make an impact.
No, they added Joe Tooney. They added Jonah Jackson. They
Dave
added
Frazier
Dolman.
is
They added
obviously
Luther
not going to
Burden.
make an impact. I don't care about the free agents. I'm talking about the draft, how you build your organization. And right now we're letting go of 3rd-round draft picks, possibly tomorrow by 3:00 again.
Sean, read that right there. You see, you didn't mention Luther
Two of
Burden.
them,
You didn't
Sean.
mention Luke Newman.
Pickens
Like,
and
you're
Cross.
leaving guys off the list purposely to make it look as bad as it possibly
were
can.
fired.
Leading
You
them
just
off.
told me,
Pickens too.
Sean,
You
you
left out
told me
Pickens.
Luther Burden has
I
the
just
chance to
said
be the
Luke Newman is not going to have an impact because he's not a starter on your team.
Luke
I
Newman-
literally just said that.
He's a-
Listen.
Sean, he's a 4th, 5th round pick. Who gives a shit? What 4th, 5th round picks come in and have?
And
Yeah,
we'll see if Luther Burden, who I believe is talented, wins the job over Oz and gets out there on the field.
Well,
and
it
what
doesn't
impact
have
he
to be
makes.
week 1. It doesn't have to
No,
be week
it
1.
doesn't.
They're all
It
developmental.
doesn't.
Look,
We'll
Colston
see
Loveland's a
in
developmental player.
totality.
He's a 10th pick in the
Hey,
draft.
look, I'm glad you guys have all this faith, and the Bears are going to be great.
not
We're gonna
about
be dancing,
faith.
singing,
It's about
fucking sunshine and
perspective,
flowers.
Sean.
I'm on the opposite. Side.
I don't expect this to be a winning football
sorry.
team. Sean,
I don't
this is
see
not
what
gonna,
you see.
This
I
team
don't
is not
see
going to
what you-
have a winning record, so I don't know what you're talking. I don't expect this team to have a winning record this year. I don't.
Happy
Not with that
anniversary,
schedule, not with everything that they're going to have to go up against this year. It's
Oh,
going to take some
Eric is on
time.
it
We
still.
continue to say that.
It's going to happen.
But
That
at the end of
is
the day, we have what we
all
have
that
in
matters.
place. Poles got the extension because he got the guy in here that nobody thought he could get in here. That's what it comes down to. And that guy that he got in here wanted stability and wanted continuity with that GM. So the Bears are actually doing it the right way for once. You got to acknowledge that. The Bears are trying to do it the right way.
I think you got
Whether
to
or not you
acknowledge
think they got the
both.
right guys,
They've done a lot of
for
bad.
sure. You
and
got to
they're trying
acknowledge
to do
both,
better.
100%.
You guys, I have said a million times.
I'll acknowledge the
I
good
can't-
when I see it on the field. Until then, I will not. I will not be fooled. I will
Okay.
not have another scar cut into me like I did last
I'll
year.
answer your question. How long, if a team in the NFL or MLB or NHL, if they say we're going through a rebuild, because let's face it, right? The Blackhawks been going through rebuild for 6 fucking years. How long do you expect teams to go through rebuilds? How long do you expect teams to be competitive when they say 2023? We're starting to rebuild right now. When do you expect that team to
Oh,
be
it's
good?
Well, based on,
Razzles
based on
Razzles here
my,
with the
based on
Kool-Aid.
my
I told you
GM's
so.
comments, we should be
No,
competing
just
for
answer
Razzles
the
been waiting for that one.
Just answer the question. Like the Browns right now are about to go through rebuild. When do you expect the Browns to be competing for a Super Bowl?
The Browns are never going to be good ever again.
Any team,
Ever.
any team.
Yeah, it's not
ever.
looking good for them.
Any team.
Listen, it's a
Mahomes
3-year
retires, they go through
Kyle, it
rebuild.
should be a 3-year process. It should
Okay,
be a
that's what
3-year
I think.
process.
Always bet on Brown.
All right.
most.
We'll see over 17 weeks this year how much better this product is based on the talent that's on this roster. Because again, sold a bill of goods. We're 2 weeks, 14 days away. We'll be sitting in the stands 14 days from now, not watching a left tackle on this football team for the 4th fucking year.
But we knew that already, Sean. I
We
mean,
should be
Shouldn't
watching
be
a win.
dealing with this shit.
But I agree.
GM's
But,
job is to
again,
take care of that situation.
yeah, but there was a lot of things that were taken care of too. You can't do everything in one off season. But the left
Okay.
tackle is not the thing
What
that you
is the
should
most-
have
what-
put
hey,
off.
Kyle, outside
for
of
sure.
quarterback, what's the most important position on the football
I just
field?
said the left tackle is
The
not the
left
thing you
tackle.
should have put
So
off.
don't you think for a fucking GM
Hold on,
that should have been one
James.
of the top
James,
priorities
real
to
quick
take care
here.
of
James,
before you get a number
Can we,
one
let's let
quarterback?
Brandon. address this chat, please.
Real quick, James says that's a lie. Ben Johnson wanted to come to Chicago. Ryan Poles didn't convince him to. Well, I think Ben Johnson was pretty public about having a standard
Yeah, I don't agree with
from
that.
the
Poles was
organization,
very intricate in
and
that.
I think that Ryan Poles had to show him that it's not the same old bad news fucking Bears. I think that. I mean, look, listen to what Sean's saying. Right?
I mean-
The dysfunction that this team has had in the last decade is something Ben Johnson thought about before he interviewed with Ryan Poles.
Yes,
Yeah,
and Ryan
it's
Poles
true
had to
with that.
convince him it was gone. It was going to be moved on from. And you heard what Zack
And-
Pearson
and-
said
and hold on,
earlier.
and-
This is very different. It feels
and-
very
and
different.
James-
He's been here.
James, you want to know that Ben Johnson had reservations about this organization. If he didn't,
Should.
he's not a very intelligent person.
Yeah.
If you're Ben Johnson and you're
He's
approaching
another
this
yes
job,
man. He's another
better-
yes man.
yeah, you better damn well have your reservations, and you better have expectations. You better tell this franchise, this is what I expect. I want to know that you're doing things differently here, and I think that Ryan Poles had to convince him of that.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
I hope Ryan
And
Poles
Kevin
is
Warren.
the GM that gets it done, because it's been how many years? How old am I now? I'm gonna be fucking 50 before I see another Super Bowl. I was 11 when they won, so let's get it done. And I hope he's the guy.
I
hope
wasn't
he is.
born. I've
Yeah,
never
so-
seen him win.
Sean's biological clock is ticking like this.
I've seen every one of my teams win a championship, and I didn't think that was going to happen because honestly, I never thought the Cubs were going to win the World Series.
And then it happened. And then did you care about, and to Kyle's point, did you care about the missteps that were had along that way in that moment? Did you think
No,
about
because
that at all?
yeah. No, because
No.
it was a process that I saw gaining momentum in the right
Mhm.
direction year after year,
Okay.
because the Cubs went to 3 NLCSs before they finally cracked it.
100%. You
I
gotta walk.
saw
You
the
gotta walk, crawl
progression
before you
happening.
walk. You gotta
Real
crawl
quick,
before
guys,
you
I
walk.
real quick, I want to address something in the comment real quick. Sean's the one who sent this to me. Sean has been clear that he's not super happy with Brian Poles. He's the one who sent this to me last year, guys. Sean sent it to me this offseason, the beginning of this offseason. Ben Johnson, people are like, he wanted to come to Chicago. Ryan Poles said he was coming to Chicago. Ryan Poles, you guys, Ben Johnson's agent had an interview and said Ben Johnson chose the Bears 30 minutes before basically the Raiders told him we're going to move on. Like, if you don't choose us, we're moving on. And it took him up till 30 minutes before that happened to choose the Bears. Right? Obviously, it was not set
The
in
GM
stone
of the
the
Lions
second
was
that search
surprised.
started.
The GM of the Lions was surprised that he chose the Bears.
Obviously, Ryan Poles'
Well,
conversation
and-
had
and
something
guys,
to do with
he
it.
did
It wasn't that
other
decision was made
interviews.
30 minutes
Yeah.
before
He did interviews.
he chose the Bears. He said he
He
chose
didn't
that
do
this
interviews to
morning.
waste people's
This morning,
time.
he chose to go to the Chicago Bears.
Hey,
I signed with
just-
him at 2:00.
I said 5 minutes ago that Ryan Poles was an intricate part of getting Ben Johnson.
No,
here.
I'm not
No, I
talking.
know
I know
the
that for a
chat-
fact.
We're talking to the chat.
He did interviews, and guys, Ben Johnson is not doing interviews to waste people's time. He did interviews because he was considering his options.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just
And
hope
there was a
Ryan
lot
Poles-
to consider with this Bears team, guys.
And
lot
a
of
quarterback
dysfunctions
had a
about
lot
that.
to do with
Yeah.
it. A quarterback had a lot
I
to
hope
do with
Ryan
it.
Poles is
And,
the
he,
guy
and him
that-
and his wife love Wrigley Field.
Brandon, I
They
agree
love
with you
the
100%.
city. We know
I agree with
that.
Sean too. Listen, man, at the end of the day, it's wins and losses, right? Nobody's going to give Ryan Poles an excuse for the rebuild. Nobody. That's never going to happen. Nobody's going to think back to this time and
Get
be
it
like,
done.
yeah, they lost 45 games in 3 years, but they were going through. Nobody's ever going to talk about that. At the end of the day, it's how many wins do you have? How many losses do you have? It's a results league. That's what it is. I'm just saying, I've seen the Bears rotate through GMs and coaches like it's going out of style. I think that sometimes in some situations, guys didn't have a long enough time to either, A,
Patience
learn on the
can be
job.
a virtue.
Yes.
You can pay off.
Patience, sometimes patience. I think
Yeah.
Ryan Poles, even though he has had his mistakes, and I agree with you guys. I agree with Sean 100%. Chase Claypool, absolute joke. I can go over a list of them, but I will say, if you compare him to the rest of the Bears GMs, and I know that's not a good comparison because the rest of the Bears GMs have been a joke, he certainly has done better than them. And I'm afraid if the Bears fire, I was when George McCaskey was still running the show. Obviously now Kevin Warren has more pull here, but if they would have fired him 2 years ago or last year, the McCaskies would hire the next GM, and it would have been just as big of a laughing stock as was Ryan Pace and everybody else.
But would
before
it
him.
have
At least with
surprised
Ryan
you?
Poles here, there is talent. We do have DJ Moore. We do have Roma Dunze.
And
We
you
do have
still
Caleb
have a
Williams.
very
We do have
young
Lucian Gordon.
GM.
We
You
do have
still have
Kyler
a-
Gordon. We
Yes.
do have Javon Dexter. We do
It's a
have
very
Jaquan
young
Brisker.
GM who has learned in the toughest situation possible. He's learned
Yes.
lessons. That's for sure. If he learned from them, you'll see it. If he did it, you'll see it too.
And you guys,
we'll know
Poles has-
soon. Within a
Ryan
year,
Poles has
we'll
spent
know.
as much money in free agency as Ryan Pace did on one player in Khalil
James,
Mack.
James, I'm not trying to pick
here,
on you.
and Ryan Pace brought one in free agency. One, and he thought that was the missing piece to win a Super Bowl. Pace, you thought Khalil Mack was going to come here and win the Bears a Super Bowl?
Yeah, B-Dog.
Are you insane?
Yeah, B-Dog.
James, I'm not trying to poke at you tonight, but I think if Wright was even considered at the left tackle position, he'd have been playing.
That would have been done.
Well, he certainly would have played it there at some point, right? Like he would have had to see what he has before.
I mean, like you would do that in the off season and in training camp and in preseason.
I do agree.
You
with
wouldn't
Dustin,
pull that trigger.
I
in
agree
the
with Dustin
regular
that
season.
conversations may have been had about if this gets bad, really bad, maybe Joe Tooney can fill in at left tackle.
He was really bad.
There's probably been those
really bad
conversations.
at
I would
left tackle.
assume.
If the coaches are not considering all their options, considering how much of a shit show this left tackle position is, then that would be very concerning. So you got to have that as your backup plan, 100%. Because Joe Tooney, will fill in admirably there, and he'll play his ass off. So like it's something to think about, because I am not sold on anybody who is an option at this left tackle spot right now. And yes, it is a concern when your GM does not address the left tackle position correctly and the defensive end position correctly. I mean, the Montez Sweat thing, he took a big swing and it has not really paid off for him as of yet. The left tackle thing, he's taken multiple swings at it, has not paid off for him yet.
He certainly has his
those are two very important positions.
Not
he got the QB position right, I think, and he got the head coach position right.
I mean, need
the GM, head coach, QB. You need that lined up.
I understand. We should be more concerned about Caleb Williams, but Ryan Post is the first GM to give the Bears quarterback an extension since 2014. I understand
it's the backup quarterback.
I get it. But Dustin, I think that there's a chance that they believe if Caleb Williams struggles in his progression, he never gets better, which I don't think that's going to happen.
Are you going here right now, Kyle? Is this where you're going?
Caleb Williams, I'm just saying, an emergency plan. He's a good emergency plan. That's all.
He's a good backup, and he's getting backup money.
He can still win games. That's all I'm saying.
I think the indicator is that Ben Johnson is good with quarterbacks and he makes them better. And if he can make Tyson Bagent better that quickly, imagine what he's going to do with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it just seems like Caleb maybe just is taking a little bit longer to learn the system.
I know, but like the best horses, Kyle, the best horses take the longest time to break.
I'm not,
you know what I'm saying? Like
Dustin, I'm not belittling Caleb Williams. Take as much time as you need. Take all
Caleb
of 2025.
has the talent.
Take all of 2025. As long as you become the guy I think you're going to be, take all of 2025. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You guys know I talked a lot of
chat here, guys,
about eliminating excuses for Caleb Williams. I think he's done a good job of that. That's all I can say.
Well, the panic button has been pressed, DJ, because Braxton has not looked good. He's looked like Braxton Jones, the same Braxton Jones we've been watching for years.
I'm kind of with DJ here. If Braxton Jones is the guy he's been for the last 3 years, I think the line will be okay.
Listen, the line is much improved around him, and you got Joe Tooney next to him.
Says played left tackle in freshman year at Tennessee and did not look all that good. It was a long time.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it's certainly disappointing that left tackle's on the end. The
What's up, Laz? Thanks for joining us. Hit that like.
That's a problem. And to be honest with you guys, I'm sorry, but I would have liked Josh Simmons more than Colston Loveland. And I know we all love Colston Loveland. I know we think he's going to be a good player, but I would have.
Kelvin Banks, Kelvin Banks, but he wouldn't have been an option. You know, he was taken right.
That was a decision made by Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles together. Obviously, Ben Johnson wanted Colston Loveland.
I respect you, Sean, but I feel like you're kind of contradicting yourself. You said at the beginning of the year you were going to give Poles a clean slate.
With a good young prospect for head coach and all line upgrades.
Sean,
yeah, I mean, Sean, you did say that. That is an accurate statement. You did say that. You have been. I think it's a reactionary thing from what you saw maybe in the preseason in terms of the sloppiness, and that sloppiness was being reported out of practice too going into that game, guys. And I brought it up, and everyone was like, "Well, they look so good against the Bills. I don't expect that to be the case again." But like, I feel your pain when it comes to this, but at the same time,
Eric is still on it.
I think cooler heads, you've said it yourself before that Ryan Poles has this opportunity. You got to give it to him at this point because you got no choice, man. You're looking at a much improved roster. You are.
I'll say this. This draft, we'll see where it goes for the most part. But this was a big-time draft that we were supposed to hit on most picks. Maybe we'll hit on Burden. We'll hit on Colston.
Definitely hitting on Burden. Definitely hitting on Love.
But we're not hitting in the middle. We'll see what Trapilo, Newman may work out. Zay Frazier may never play football. Maybe Monungai is going to be the guy. I still think he's just a guy. The fact
seventh round pick, most likely, yes.
Yep,
7th round
today
pick.
That I'm sitting around, that we're losing another 3rd round pick. possibly tomorrow.
We don't know that yet either.
He's also a guy I wondered why he drafted in the first place. The guy who didn't play football for a year and a half, and
the injuries were well reported,
and make a big difference. Then you have the same thing with Shamar Turner. He's got this injury in his leg. He's already missing time. He's come back. He's probably going to be off and on. We'll see what Shamar Turner turns out to. I just look at the draft board and say, man, there were some really good players that could be helping this team immediately. I look at last year and say, man, look at the Steelers. They got 2 fourth-round offensive linemen, and we're over here drafting in the 3rd round Karama Magaji, who may not be on this roster tomorrow. Maybe he will, but he's still not going to make an impact. These things bother me. And you know what? If I'm contradicting myself, maybe I'm just over it. I'm over.
They did not choose Karan over Frazier. Frazier was off the board at that point.
Frazier was in the 4th round pick.
No, I'm pretty sure he was a 3rd round pick. Frazier was not chosen. They didn't choose Karan with. I don't know
who was the 4th round. It doesn't matter. There was a
Christian
4th round
Haynes.
There's a 4th round lineman by the Pittsburgh Steelers that was taken in the fucking draft last year that started every game for them and allowed 0 fucking sacks.
Yeah, the guard. Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. What are we doing? We're not building in the trenches. You know what the Bears did in '83? They drafted 5 Hall of Fame linemen. Stop missing.
It's a problem.
This is
problem.
Ben Johnson's first
job.
Well, hold on. This is so Ryan Poles, Sean. I have my reservations about Ryan Poles. They're just the same as him being successful. I could see him being terminated, but this is Ben Johnson's first draft, and obviously, Sean, I know you know this. We have to give it time. I know you know that, but right now, Ruben Hippolyte, Luke Newman, Colston Loveland, and Luther Burden look like pretty good players to me. So, I mean, if you're talking 4 out of,
you guys are going to be so wrong about Ruben Hippolyte unless he changes it to a safe. This guy
I said he looks good. I don't know what could I be wrong about. He looks good.
He looks
so
good.
far. He has looked good.
It hasn't impressed me at all.
In the reps that he's had.
Sorry,
no, that's fine.
Sorry.
But look, when you're talking about Pole swinging for the fences, on Karan, I think that's Pole's biggest issue. I think he thinks that he's smarter than everybody else.
Talent?
Yeah, he's smarter than everybody else, and he jumps on these guys that nobody else is looking at. You're zigging when everyone else is zagging. Maybe you need to kind of go with the flow a little better. And Ariante Ursary this year would have made a lot of sense to me. And I know people don't know that and I loved him in the draft. A lot of people are not as high on him as you have been, Sean, as I was. But a left tackle needed to be a thing. And I don't know. I think he got cute with trading back in this draft. I do. I think that I would have kept my picks and stayed and gotten the best talent possible. But when you take a chance on a Karan Amagaji, when you know he's been injured, you can't get respect for that. That is the expectation. An injured guy that you drafted is still injured.
But let's remember,
again,
guys,
as we said, shouldn't be surprised by that. A right tackle that you drafted in the 2nd round is playing right tackle. What do you know? That makes total sense because that's what he was fucking doing when you drafted him.
If you move Hippolyte to safety, I think he will have success in the NFL. If you make him a full-time linebacker, he will not be successful. Mark my words on it. Write it down. Take
Mason
a picture.
McCormick was the guy. Yes, Mason McCormick.
This stuff all changes in the snap of a finger. Sean was worried
Mason
about Luther Burden when he was missing training camp. Now he's the best wide receiver on the Chicago Bears. You never know what's going to happen with these guys. It changes like the weather changes.
I was never worried about Luther Burden.
Everything could change. Well, dude, you were like, oh, he's going to come out of the season behind. He's missed too much training camp. The guy looks like he played in the NFL for 3 years, bro. You just never know how quickly these guys will develop or how they struggle.
But when you gamble, Kyle,
Justin, Luther Burden wasn't a gamble.
No,
Luther Burden came into the season.
The later you get in the draft, the more it becomes a gamble.
But 3rd round, 2nd round, you're gambling with these guys.
Some second round
fix your
good.
left
tackle
like
I said, you guys. I mean, Sky.
Let me ask you guys.
It's too much projection and not enough.
When they drafted Shamar Turner, were you guys like, fuck yeah, we just got Shamar Turner?
No, I was pissed.
I wanted
Darius Alexander. I wanted
Andrew texted you guys. I really liked the Turner.
But then Brandon, you were like, I don't know about this guy because of this injury, and I don't think he's ever going to recover fully.
Well, the injury is concerning. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I liked Omar Norman Lott, who went right after that. I liked Darius Alexander, who went right after that. I liked Andrew Makuba, who went 62. I liked these guys a lot better. The Shamar Turner pick was my least favorite pick of the draft. Probably.
Yeah, and that being said, you still have no idea what
exactly 100%.
Hopefully, Turner turns out. I mean, he's on the D line,
but it could be another one.
You're going to be like, you know what? Ryan Poles is right. I was wrong.
But it could
You
be
never
another
know.
one of those
You don't
things
know.
where he thinks he's getting
Sure,
the
it
value
could
like
be
he did with
anything.
Pickens,
It could
like
be a
he did with
million different
Amagaji,
There's a
like
million
he
different
did with
things.
Bayless
so
Jones.
many.
He
There's
thought
just
he was
so
getting
many.
the steal of the draft with Bayless Jones, guys.
Can we
He's
trade
a
for
gadget
Howie
player.
Roseman?
what bothers me about Poles misses is he's not drafting the
Exactly,
guys,
relentless.
the names from the top of the list, and they just happen to be a fail. He's like reaching way down. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it
Like
depends on
looking
what
at
you're talking
ADP,
about. I mean, he
this
Ruben
man's
drafted Jared
Hippolyte
drafted
will
Williams.
not play
Bayless
safety.
Jones.
I agree with
Bayless
you,
Jones
Jason.
and Zach Pickens were drafted like a round ahead of their or ahead of their draft projection. That's when you talk about getting cute. If you can
JK loved the Turner
listen,
pick.
even if you like a player that nobody else seems to, but you still have to be mindful of the idea, Kyle, that you can wait on that. Ruben Hippolyte could have been drafted in the 6th round, even if you liked him,
Yeah, you
even if
guys
you
also have to
believe that you
imagine.
know more. The value of the pick itself, the
All
third
right,
round
but you
pick or
also have
4th
to
round
take
pick,
this into
that's
this
what you're
this
missing on badly here.
this draft. You also have to take into consideration that Ryan Poles needs to get comfortable with his coaching staff. Like I'm sure Dennis Allen said, "I want Ruben Hippolyte. I want Shamar Turner." At what point in this relationship does Ryan Poles
but
go, "I
Ryan
don't give a
Poles in
shit.
his
I don't
entire
give a shit
tenure
what you want.
has
I'm the
reached on
GM,
players.
so shut up." That guy's had injuries his entire career. He's played 12 games. Shamar Turner, he could have been like Dennis
Yeah,
Allen.
but I said
Do
Bayless
yourself a
Jones
favor.
and Zach
Stay in your
Pickens
lane. I'm going to
were
draft these
drafted
guys.
a
You be
round
the
ahead of
defensive
their
coordinator.
projection.
Maybe he's waiting a year to do that before he starts pissing the coaching staff off. Like, hey guys, you had your draft last year. You had your Shamar Turner. You had your Ruben Hippolyte. It didn't work. It's my turn again. You guys can sit by idly and watch. I'm going to go get my left tackle in the 1st round. I'm going to go get whatever I want in the 2nd. And maybe that's going to happen at some point with this coaching staff. I don't know. But if you guys think that Dennis Allen had nothing to do with, if you guys think that Dennis Allen had nothing to do with Turner, then you're insane. If you think that Dennis Allen had nothing to do with drafting Shamar Turner, you're insane.
Oh, he absolutely
You're
did.
insane.
He absolutely
Or
did.
Ruben Hippolyte. Did you watch
Yeah,
the War Room?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Kyle,
the two names I said were Bayless Jones and Zach Pickens. I don't know what you're talking about. Ben Johnson's draft.
Well,
I'm talking about
you think the
Ryan
Matt
Poles.
Eberflus had nothing to do with Zach Pickens? Are you insane?
No, I don't. I don't think
You're
Matt
insane.
Eberflus had a
I
lot
think
to do
you're
with
insane.
any of the drafts. I don't.
I don't either.
I think you're
I've
insane.
stood on that for a long time now. I don't think
I don't think
Matt
I think Matt
Matt
Eberflus had a lot to
Eberflus
do with
said,
Kyler Gordon. I
I
think he had a
need
lot
these
to do with Jaquan
positions.
Brisker. I think he had a lot to do with Javon Dexter. I think he had a
No,
lot to
I
do with
think
all of it.
I think he said, I want a player at this position. And Ryan Poles said, I think this is the best one. I think that Ben Johnson is telling Ryan Poles, these are the fucking guys that I want at this position.
I think Dennis Allen did the same in this draft, though, with these defensive
That's
players.
what we just talked about.
Yeah, they were very specific.
Yeah, but when people have these conversations, they put all the blame on Ryan Poles and none on Dennis Allen. But then once Dennis Allen does something good,
there's no blame to put yet because these guys.
I agree 100%. But we have people guaranteeing that Ruben Hippolyte's going to suck. We have people guys.
Ruben Hippolyte has looked pretty good.
No, I think
I'm not guaranteeing anything.
And Ruben Hippolyte,
I thought he looked good. I think maybe we should stay away from we should probably not criticize Poles anymore.
I'll just say this: he might not play safety, but Dennis Allen was the one who put that idea in my head that this guy looks like a prototypical safety in the NFL.
And Shamar Turner looks like he can play the edge to me.
I mean, it's impossible for him to do it, but our defensive coordinator was actually the one who said it. So,
and if he does, what's wrong with that?
I think based on his speed and coverage ability, I think he would be better at the safety position.
He wasn't that great in coverage at college. I don't think he has the size.
He actually blew a couple of coverage assignments in the preseason.
James Christo, I'm saying you don't know any. You have no idea how much Ryan Poles is, how much influence these coaches have in drafting this player. You don't know because you're not in the war room, so you don't know. But I can tell you this for a fact: if you don't like Ruben Hippolyte and you don't like Shamar Turner, Dennis Allen gets a lot of that grief because he had something to do with that.
Those were
just so you know,
more than ever.
Just so you know, James, he had a lot to do with those picks.
Kyle, those were two very specific. These guys could fill this role in my defense.
Yes.
Like that.
And Al Harris had a lot to do with Zach Pearson. It's been publicly announced.
But hold on, the way this conversation started, I want to stand on. I've said this before. It is Ryan Poles' responsibility as the general manager, if Dennis Allen's in his ear saying Ruben, to say, hey, we can wait. That guy will be there.
He's not on the field.
It's his job as a general manager to know when it's responsible to draft the player the coach wants. That is the general manager's job.
To follow the board.
I'll reiterate. I hope that Ryan Poles is learning on the job. We'll see what this draft class turns into.
I think it's a pretty good one, Sean.
He's the guy who brings the brass ring back to Chicago, the Lombardi Trophy back home. I hope so. What I've seen so far doesn't give me the utmost confidence. Did he do a good job with Ben Johnson? Actually, Ben Johnson did a good job of building his staff. Did he get Ben Johnson here? He obviously had something to do with it. We'll see how it all plans out or plays out. But the depth on this team
coach collaborates with the GM for the draft.
just hasn't
Every
impressed me
single one of
enough
them.
to this point.
Every
We'll see
single
what happens.
one. Even the good teams who draft very well, the coach has a lot to do with their draft, especially if it's a coach who's like long time, like Andy Reid, like a long tenured coach. Bill Belichick at one point was doing the draft. He was doing all the entire draft. So what purpose did that GM serve? I don't know. I'm not an NFL executive. I don't know. All I'm telling you is if you're going to place a bunch of blame on Ryan Poles for missed draft picks this season, you have to place the same amount of blame on Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen because they had just as much input on those draft picks as Ryan Poles did.
I agree 100%.
But I'll say this: Ryan Poles has a much longer track record of drafting players than those guys.
Sure, you guys are
so
not
that
talking
resume
about that.
is stacking up.
No, but I think
I'm
I'm with Kyle on this one. And I think those guys sat down and said, "These are the players that I got to plug holes with."
Yeah, no doubt. But Ryan Poles' draft picks need to produce second contract.
I agree.
Day
two has not been his strength.
And you guys, I will say, by the way, also, I think so. This gets lost in these conversations sometimes, guys. 50% of your draft being good players in the NFL that's a good hit, guys.
That's a
really good hit.
That's
four out of eight. Four out of eight is a really good hit.
That's why I said four. But again, I want to reiterate, no matter how much influence this new coaching staff, which I believe they had almost 100%, no matter how much influence they had on Ryan Poles and who was drafted, it is still Ryan Poles' responsibility not to reach on players.
Yes, next year
you can't. If every board out there from every analyst says this guy's this pre-draft profile says this guy's a 7th round pick, maybe bottom of the 6th if he impresses on his pro day, and you're taking him in the 4th, your GM is making mistakes.
Do you think Bernard, do you think there's some validity behind the fact that maybe next year, if he sees the results of this draft and he's like, I got these coaches,
he should never take it back, Kyle.
They need these players. No, I'm saying, do you think that next year he might be more inclined to be like, hey, listen, Dennis, I respect you. I love you. Ben Johnson wanted you here, but we saw what your draft picks turned out to be. I'm going to be more. It's going to be my board.
Be more assertive in telling a guy that's not where I like the player. You're the guy who dictates the players that you guys tell me what you need on your team. And Ben Johnson not just giving him a position, he's giving him a specific player.
Ryan Poles makes the final decision.
Ryan Poles needs to be able to say, Kyle, yes, he's the guy you want, and I'll get him, but not here.
Because like it or not, Kyle, you're not putting the draft classes of this Bears organization on Ben Johnson. You're putting it on Ryan Poles at the end of the day.
And that's what will happen.
That's what I said. I came out and said the wins and losses are going to fall on Ryan. Even if he had a shitty head coach, say Ben Johnson sucks and the Bears lose a bunch, people are going to be like, well, Ryan Poles is an idiot for signing Ben Johnson, but we all wanted him to sign Ben Johnson.
That could very well be true.
Sometimes you take the popular pick and it doesn't work out. You guys, we're still sitting here talking about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels when Caleb Williams, everybody drafted, everybody in the world was like, oh man, that's definitely the best quarterback in this draft. A year later, here we are like, maybe he wasn't the best quarterback of the draft, but can you blame Ryan Poles for drafting the guy that everybody in the world said is going to be the best player in the draft?
Well, listen to what Sam
says.
He's
go against the grain everywhere else.
He put him in position to be able to have that choice.
Samuel says Poles overdrafted many players. Overdraft is a nice way of saying it. Hold on.
Yeah, he reached on many players because he falls in love with players and doesn't show discipline to his draft value.
And then J2K says, I think they are all involved. I don't think there's any off limits. That's my jive kind of attitude. And J2K, that doesn't work, right? We know that success will not come with that. I mean, you cannot have one guy telling
you need to have a head of a snake.
It's my job to draft guys. Yeah, but you as a head coach,
you need to have a final decision maker, guys.
I think
I said that at the end of the day, he needs to be the guy who's like, hey, I don't care what you say, Dennis Allen. I don't like that guy.
And I think a head coach
might fit your scheme, but I don't like that guy.
I think a head coach needs to have his own. I think they need to have their own board.
He needs to say, Dennis, Shamar Turner is injured. I understand you think he fits your scheme, but he's injured. You want me to draft this guy? Are you insane?
Kyle, you said 50% is good. There's been 26 draft picks, not including 2025. He's produced 10 starters out of his 26 draft picks. That's not 50%.
Yeah, and then
So
you
he
could
has to do a better job
yes,
at
Sean, he does.
producing stars.
I don't know
50% is
how many
like the
times I can
best.
say that, guys. I don't think
50% is like the best.
I
Is
could
it
put it
not,
on a
guys?
sign behind me.
That's
Ryan Poles
56%.
would be better in the draft.
56%.
Like I
I think
said, guys, at the end of the day,
that's
we,
like
we
one
can
of the
get in
best
all
teams.
The Philadelphia
we can get a
Eagles.
draft picks, we can get a free agency additions, we can get we can get the money, how he's signing contracts, how he cleared the dead cap space. We can get all that all day. But if he wins the Super Bowl, I'm not going to care as
Well,
much
Sean,
about
not
any
even
of it, okay?
Sean, not even
That's what
starters,
I'm
because
saying.
you said 10 guys are starters. Braxton Jones is a starter. Are there 10 guys that are getting second deals?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
not.
Probably not. Probably
That
not.
number will drop.
And Brennan, you've
Wait.
also been the guy. You've been very vocal on this podcast, saying that Matt Eberflus didn't do him any favors by not giving him any direction in the players that he wanted.
Yes,
So I
He
mean,
didn't.
everybody
No,
gets
I
I think
blamed.
that
and
I think
I
that
stand
goes
firm
for a
on that.
lot of
And
players.
a lot of people disagree with that. I think Ben
It
Johnson.
is a collaborative effort.
I think
guys.
Ben Johnson told
It
Ryan
is.
Poles, here's a group of
Erica, I did not know
players
that.
by name that I like. Where Matt Eberflus was
I don't
telling them
think it was
these are
eight.
the positions we're lacking. We need these what three
Eighth
tech.
best.
We need
I
a
don't think-
nickel.
I don't think it was eighth best. I
The
think they had
Bears
their
have the
linebacker.
eighth best roster in the
No.
NFL.
No, I don't think that's where they.
No.
fell
I never saw
overall.
any of those rankings. I don't care about
No.
ESPN rankings. I can't
If
argue
they
with
were
you
the eighth
because
best
I didn't
roster in
see
the
the. I
NFL, then the
didn't see
Bears
the
are a
article.
playoff team. Like we're talking.
There's no way the
Oh,
Bears
you
are
guys-
not on
you guys-
paper. Absolutely not.
If Caleb Williams is good in this offense and he picks up like Jaden Daniels did in Washington, the Bears are a playoff team.
Guys, VDog says, "Yo,
Hey,
Colin."
dog, I never thought Noah
I-
Sewell was terrible. I've always wanted Noah
I
Sewell.
still think
Noah Sewell is just still exactly what he's been. Noah
Well,
Sewell
he's
is
hurt
not,
again.
but
So-
he's
Yeah, I
just
agree
an
with you, dog.
average NFL player, guys. I don't think he's.
I think I've always
I don't
said
think
that
he's
I
turning
always
into
said that
something
Noah
special
Sewell
for
could
this
be a
team.
specialty player in the NFL. He can be stand up on the edge and get after the quarterback. He sucks at coverage, but he could be a special player doing special things as in special moments. I don't think he's a regular
Very
starter.
special.
Very special.
I mean, certain packages, right? Like that's
Yeah.
Special
Yes.
packages, the special one.
Special Noel Sewell packages. You got that.
Yes, packages specific
Special
to his
Sewell,
skills,
that's the new
yes,
name.
which is what every coaching
They
staff
did
should do.
rank-
You
I
should
did
players
see
that
Yes,
best
James.
position succeed.
Hell
I
yeah,
did-
James. James
I
says
did
Caleb
see
Williams is a
Caleb
top
Williams. I
5
did see
QB
they
in the
ranked the
NFL.
Bears offensive line third. That was the only rankings that I saw.
They had Caleb at 20th. They had the running backs at 21. They had the linebackers at 8th. I mean, there was a
Our running backs are like 32 right now.
You guys, I'll tell you this right now. In 2026, the Bears have a losing record. I will be Sean. I will come
I'm
on
a
this
fan
podcast
for
and say
fuck's
Ryan
sake.
Poles
Getting
is an
exasperated.
absolute joke, and I'm done with him.
Hold
100%.
on. And when? When
If
did you say?
2020, not this season, because
We love you guys.
we all said already we're not worried about
John,
winning
Erica,
nothing, right? We all
DJ,
said that. Everybody in
Dante,
the
J2K.
Can
Well,
we let
Kyle,
Kyle
we'll
make
be
his
able to
point?
make that decision based on the product that we're watching if we don't see any progression.
Well, I'm talking about wins and losses. That's what
Razzle.
I don't need the Bears to
Specific wins and
win.
losses.
I need
Exactly.
to see
But
progression.
in 2026, Sean, they need to win.
I agree.
They need to win,
Agree.
right? So if they still suck in 2026, if they're going 5-12 in 2026, Sean, I will come on here and be like, Sean, you were on. Ryan Poles needs to get the fuck out of Chicago right now. And you know what? If they're 5-12 in 2026, he could probably take Ben Johnson.
There's
and Caleb
nothing
Williams.
wrong with your approach, DJ. He says we're a playoff team until we're not. I like the attitude, man. You guys
No,
stick
listen,
positive.
it's
like
good
like
to
like
share.
like Zack Pearson said, you would never discourage a fan from being
By,
excited.
How's the
that's-
time?
by November 9th, we'll be having a different conversation.
How's the time to be excited? Brandon, go ahead and shout out the people in the chat like you were about to do.
Yeah, DJ Profit, guys. James Cristo, Erica, Razzle Dazzle, Dante Purified, John S, J2K, man. Always good to see you, bro. V Dog, guys.
Samo,
Samo. Yeah, Samo, thanks for coming back.
Jed
man.
was in here. Jed had a question. Relentless
Jedediah.
Mikey. Yeah.
You guys are crushing it tonight, man. And I thank you again for the questions you threw at our guest, Zack Pearson, man. And we appreciate you guys carrying the show along. We're trying to get to all of them, but you guys are
subscribe.
bringing the heat tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate
Something-
y'all.
Something
Rocket Dream is
happened to
back.
X.
What's going on, Rocket Dream? Thanks for joining us,
Something
guys.
happened
Yeah,
to
please
X.
hit that like button if you can.
What's
I
up,
can't find
Bearski? Thanks for
can't
joining
find
the
it.
show.
I want to
man.
make this point to DJ.
Hold on,
though.
you guys. Bearski just joined the. He very rarely
Bearski
comes
Film,
on.
what up, man?
What's up,
What's up,
Bearski?
Paul? What's going
Thanks
on,
for
brother?
jumping in
Thanks
with
for
us.
joining, Bearski.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
man.
DJ, I understand, and I have a very positive outlook on this team. It doesn't mean that I expect them to equate to a playoff team this year. I don't
No,
expect that.
Yeah,
I have a very positive outlook for this team right now in terms of where I've seen it be over the last 20 years of watching this team. Pretty
No,
consistent.
I don't think it's a
Since
direct
Lovie Smith.
correlation.
Hold on. But we got to be realistic about what we're looking at. This is the point I'm trying to make. We don't need to be. I'm not trying to be overly optimistic either. I mean, and I'm not trying to be overly critical of anything. At the end of the day, we got to look at what we see, and that will kind of set our expectations. This team is not a playoff team right now.
Yeah.
It's not. There are some negative things about this team that will cause issues in games, especially against certain players that we
Defensive
play in our
line and running back.
that we play in our division that will cause issues, guys. So we're going to need some guys to be really good to overcome those things. Like Caleb Williams needs to step up big. DeAndre Swift needs to step up big.
Yes.
Montez Sweat needs to step up big. We're banking on a lot of hope. So hope is good right now, but let's just not get our hope too high to where we do what we did last year and the sky is falling.
And I've said on this podcast numerous times, guys, that because of Ryan Poles missing those draft picks and because of certain players getting hurt or whatever, there's a ton of things that go into it. They're going to have to mask some deficiencies. Justin just said it. If Braxton Jones is guarding Aiden Hutchinson, you're going to have to mask that deficiency.
Yeah,
you're going to have to chip block. They're going to have two left tackles against
Aiden Hutchinson. Coaching, but I'll say this, and to Dustin's point,
I think they are one offseason away from being a very competitive football team in the NFL. If Caleb Williams is the guy we think he is, that's a big.
I guess you're missing that they went 5-12 last year, DJ. That's the thing.
I believe that those rankings on ESPN, the two lowest ranked units were the defensive line and the running back, and I think that you have issues there. I 100%.
No, the quarterback was ranked a little lower than the D line, I believe, Brandon. But yeah, those three. The
edge position was ranked like 24th, dude.
Yeah,
it was the worst. I sent it to you guys. It was the worst ranking.
20. Yeah.
And the running backs were like 21st.
V-Dog, I just want to respond to V-Dog. He commented to me directly. V-Dog, I'm not saying that the Bears make it break it season is 2026 for Ryan Poles. I'm saying my personal make it break it season for Ryan Poles is 20. If the Bears are a winning team in 2026, and this talent on this roster starts to show out and they start to look like they're supposed to, like Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, and Luther Burden, then I'm going to be okay with Ryan Poles. If it's not working, then I'm not. And I'm telling you guys right now, if they're
it's a make or break year for Poles next year for sure.
If they're a 5-win team in 2026, you guys, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams might be going with them. There's a chance.
Yeah, but you were saying we were getting too far ahead earlier, so that's a little far.
That's just my personal opinion. That has nothing to do with what I think the Bears think of Ryan Poles. That's all I'm saying. You might be right. Maybe George McCaskey keeps him the entirety of his contract, and he never has a winning season. I don't know. I have no idea.
No way.
You shouldn't.
No way.
You shouldn't.
So
yeah, but
I'm with you there, Kyle.
The point is that we all ignored some very visible red flags if we would have just looked. If we would have just looked last year, we tricked ourselves into expectations because of all the pretty weapons, but we had no line of scrimmage dominance. We had
Keenan Allen and DJ Moore's got us excited.
Yeah, and you brought up the inept leadership. We knew that. We knew Matt Eberflus was a fucking idiot. We knew that. We ignored a lot of red flags last year.
He'll be a guest next week on this show.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and we heard players in the NFL criticizing Shane Waldron, and we ignored it. People were like,
his own receiver. He's like,
that guy sucks.
Oh, did you guys hear the radio? Did you hear the Seattle radio host just obliterate Shane Waldron the week they hired him? They had Seattle's color commentator from the football games on the radio on the score, and he destroyed Waldron. I remember telling you guys this after I heard the interview, and I was like, we might have an issue here. As far as Seattle's concerned, this guy sucks.
I remember
They're happy to rid themselves.
I remember Kyle saying some fan of the Seahawks was at the bar and told him how
they were like,
no, Seattle was like,
thank you for taking him.
Yeah. Seattle felt a lot about Shane Waldron like we did Luke Getsy. So think about that. That's who we replaced him with.
I understand and I respect your position on Caleb Williams, but I think everybody on this podcast agrees that the success ultimately falls on the shoulders of Caleb Williams. Do we all agree?
Of a quarterback, Kyle. Of a quarterback. We can say that broadly. Right. The fate of every NFL team rests on the shoulders of the arm of their quarterback.
To be a good team in the NFL, you almost have to have a franchise quarterback. Unless you have the best coach in the NFL.
That was the theme of our entire interview with Zack Pearson. Right? When you really think it all kept coming back to Caleb, and it's all about Caleb. We could have 6 wins this year, but if Caleb progresses and gets into the same mindset as
and
Ben
4 of those
Johnson
6 wins
and
are the
runs,
last 6 games of the
runs
season.
this offense, I mean, like then that's still a net positive in my mind, because Caleb is the thing that's going to carry you. You don't see teams win championships without a top 5 quarterback lately, guys. You just don't see it happen, right? Like when's the last time it did?
It doesn't.
So I mean, the
This
Ravens,
is this
Trent
is not
Dilfer,
2000.
Brad
This is not-
Johnson with the Buccaneers.
And this is not 2000.
I like that.
That probably can't happen anymore, guys. I'd be hard pressed to find a team that can win a Super Bowl with a good defense and a shitty quarterback. I think the best argument you could make was maybe Peyton Manning on the Broncos. Peyton Manning wasn't that good, but the Broncos and Von Miller still found a way to win the championship.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Outside of that, you pretty much
But it's
need
still
a good
Peyton Manning.
quarterback.
It's still
Yeah,
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning
It's
didn't
still
lose
Peyton
it. He didn't lose it. He didn't lose it. But
So let me ask you boys.
At the end of the day, Caleb Williams is the guy. He has to be the guy, guys. He has to.
It starts and ends with him. Period.
Are
End
we
of
ready
story.
to put a nail in this coffin or what for the night?
Let's
we
we
never
got to do
to
the most
Chicago moments.
The 5 worst moments in Chicago sports history is what we.
Oh man,
let's do it.
That's a fun thing that's transitioned to after Sean going off about Ryan Cole.
Oh god, I got a lot of scars, boys.
This is gonna be brutal.
I
mean, the double doink,
John, what we got?
Doink was number 5 for me, guys. The double doink for me was absolutely soul crushing, because I really do think the Bears could have competed with the Rams or Patriots in that playoff run. I really do think they could have. That double doink crushed my soul. Absolutely crushed my soul. Mitch Trubisky brought him back into scoring
that
position,
was rough.
And they missed a field goal to lose the game. I mean, I literally have never been more depressed in my life.
I mean, but do you? So then you put the Bears Super Bowl loss ahead of that?
Well, I expected the Bears to lose that Super Bowl to Peyton Manning, man.
Even after Devin Hester returned the opening
it
kickoff?
Didn't matter. I looked at my buddies in that room that day and said, you guys, Peyton Manning still has yet to take the field.
And you put that over the NFC Championship, the Bears and the Packers in 2008?
Justin, I agree with you. Like, no, that would be number 4 to me. The Bears losing to the Packers and the NFC Championship. Jay Cutler riding the bike on the sideline. That's number 4 for me. I think
that's number 4. So it's very Bears centric for you. Okay, what's number 3 then? You started your list. You might as well.
I mean, MJ retiring.
Which
3.
time?
The first time.
Yeah, that's on my list. The 93 retirement. That's on my list.
I'd say number 2 is probably the fact that Jerry Krause ripped that team apart, and they still had championships left inside of them. And then for number 1, you guys, and this is not, I wasn't alive, but just out of listening to people like Sean Lugo and people I've listened to for a long time and watching all the films and highlights, it would be the Bears not winning another Super Bowl after 85. I mean, that's ridiculous. They had the best defense in NFL history. They should have.
But it's for Kyle. It's got to be something you live through, man. It's got to for it to matter to you, for it to hit with you. It's got to be something.
All the ring. I mean, like I said, Michael Jordan, that team being ripped apart after what was that? 90.
That's number 1 for me. That's number 1 for me.
Soul crushing. They should have won 10, guys. They should have won 10. They should have won 10. They could have won 10. If Michael Jordan never retires and Jerry Krause is an asshole, they win 10 championships. The most dominant sports team in sports history.
They would have definitely won that championship in '99 in a short season.
I always think,
and they would have won the 2 championships when he retired.
I think that was a silent suspension for gambling. I've always thought that, and
it was kind of like Stern and him had a backroom deal, go away for a little bit while this dies down, and then you can come back.
I never thought about it like that. And
all right,
exactly what it was.
Since John's starting here, 1988 is on my list. 1988 is definitely on my list, man. That was a tough.
That Niners team was really fucking good, Sean.
But that Bears team was really good. And I'll tell you 2 facts about that. Losing our quarterback, and the Bears went through Harbaugh. They went through Tom Zach. And they had McMahon that year. McMahon, I believe, started, I think it was 7-2, something like that, 6-2. And then it switched over. But we lost Walter Payton for the first time in his career. And that was the birth of Neil Anderson, who, for all intents and purposes, rushed for I want to say 1,200 yards, something like that. Came out of nowhere. That 88 team was really good, man. And then you had the Fog Bowl against the Eagles, like one of the greatest fucking games ever. And then they shit the bed at home against the Niners in frigid temperatures. I think that's what's most depressing about it, because I mean the Bears were really, really.
Where
good.
does that rank on your list? Is that number 5 then?
It's probably number 5.
Okay.
Number 4 is gonna be 86. The Bears were so dominant, and again, quarterback issues seems to be the tale of the Chicago Bears' existence. You know, we had quarterback issues again with McMahon getting hurt. Peyton had a great year. I think he had 1,300 yards that year, but the Bears defense was so dominant. I think they allowed 10 to 12 less points than they did in 85.
Yeah,
And
but
then they got waxed by the Redskins. I think it was the Redskins. They waxed us by a couple of touchdowns in the playoffs. And then if I go, oh boy, if I go, it's gonna be, man, this is a tough one. It's gonna be 84 against the Padres. The Cubs being up in that series, you know, they should have won the World Series in 84. Oh man. And then I'm gonna go 2003 Chicago Cubs, because
that was fucking.
They're on my list. That's on my list.
I went to almost every playoff game that year, and I was there in Game 7 when we lost to the Marlins. But I just want to correct, because I saw someone say the Bartman game. People can go.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, dude. Alex Gonzalez. After Alex Gonzalez booted that double play, the Cubs let up 8 runs. If he makes that double play, the Cubs are out of the inning, and everyone forgets about Steve Bartman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry.
Bartman the Cubs completely collapsed, Sean. The Cubs completely collapsed.
And you want to know the truth of it? Would Steve Bartman would have been that bad as Steve Bartman if fucking Moises Alou didn't make such a big deal about the play?
Moises Alou was always a big fucking baby. He really was. But there's a documentary made about that.
Yeah, there is, and it's stupid.
But they dive into what really happened and why that it doesn't.
I'll tell you this: I know
Bartman,
no one can see it.
That's how it will live on.
This knuckle in my hand goes up. It doesn't sit right, and this is the knuckle. I punched a brick wall at my wife's work when Alex Gonzalez blew the double play and broke my knuckle for the rest of my life.
Watching the big game at the wife's work, huh?
Oh, well, she worked at Brass, dude. We were like 50 deep there.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I'm gonna go through my 5 because you guys have named it.
Well, number one for me, and I know
I thought you said number 1.
No, that
that was number 2.
Number 1 is the Bears losing in the Super Bowl. And unlike that, Kyle, when I went into the game thinking, I'm like, man, we're not going to beat Peyton Manning.
They had a puncher's chance. I thought they had a puncher's
chance.
Yes,
but I'll tell you, when Hester
if they left the door open that bit, Peyton Manning was going to kick it in, man. I knew it.
No, but
if they left the door open,
when Hester ran that kickback, bro, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, and then they left Reggie Wayne wide open down the
Super
field.
Bowl history. But then they left Reggie Wayne. I can't remember who was the defender that left Reggie Wayne.
Daniel Manning.
He was making a fucking cell phone call like, hey, Peyton, I'm wide open down the field. Yeah, that was deflating. So.
They didn't use Thomas Jones, and there's just so many things that they fucked up in that game that were just absolutely.
Yeah, they didn't ride Thomas Jones, and Thomas Jones was the whole reason they were fucking there in the first place on the offensive side of the ball.
Tommy Harris didn't play in that game. That was soul crushing before the game even started. I'm like, oh great, now Tommy Harris is out and against Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. And, even going into that game saying, hey, man, there's not a 100% chance that we can win this. My team lost in the fucking Super Bowl, dude. And that's a kick in the balls. Dude.
Yeah, especially the way it started. Like, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen because of a Devin Hester kickoff return for a touch. Like, those types of things needed to happen for the Bears for them to win that game.
Right,
and when it starts like that, you get on a high, man, and you feel like you had a chance because that Bears team was really fucking good. I went to a lot of Bears games that year. They dominated.
But it was Rex Grossman, guys.
I understand, but it's kind of revisionist history to say like they didn't have it. That game was a better game than we're looking back on it.
I think it was a very competitive game.
Yeah,
I really do.
It was. And that Bears team was very fucking good. They were dominant in a lot of games.
The defense was just outrageous.
The defense
stood a chance against anyone.
They
prior
should
to
have
his
wrote
They were
Thomas
very well
Jones,
coached. Very well
and
coached.
they let Joseph Adai kick the living shit out of us. dude.
Yeah, that was the biggest disappointment to
Joseph
me. Yeah.
Adai
Tommy
run
Harris.
the Bears like a fucking old rug.
Tommy
And
Harris.
they stayed in that cover 2 until they died, and Peyton Manning just picked it apart, short passes, nice and easy. Yeah.
Just like Marino did in '85. Just like Marino did in '85. He just picked apart that they stopped
was
blitzing
That was
against the
Dick and Dunk.
Dolphins.
That was Dick and Dunk.
Yeah, just dinked and donked them the
Get it out,
entire
get it.
game, and they couldn't
Yep.
stop them.
And it's like, just make an adjustment, but they never did. Did.
Yeah, and to go back to that '86 season, this just popped in my head because
Yeah, Samo. No, Mike Brown rarely played though, so that. But
Yeah,
Tommy was the pillar of health.
Yeah.
And then you lose.
Razzle, that's very high on my list, but that's very.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead. We're running along here. Go ahead. I want to take a bit more time.
Number 5, I had a tough time choosing between trading Jimmy Butler because that crushed me on a personal level, or because he was a guy you drafted and developed into a all-star, and then they just
they let that get bad. They let that get. They should have just paid him the contract early on instead of letting that get contentious.
And I had to choose between
fuck everything up.
I had to choose between that because, like I said, personally, that crushed me. I love Jimmy Butler, who's probably my favorite player at the time he was traded. But the drafting of Mitch Trubisky was close behind that because, there was 2 quarterbacks that were clearly better players in that draft than the fucking guy the Bears traded up to draft, who had no experience at all, 12 games in college football. You had Patrick Mahomes. Deshaun Watson was gone. You still had Mahomes to fall back on, and you traded up. You could have taken Mahomes at 3rd and been justified, and you traded up the 2nd pick. But the Steve Bartman game, Sean, I don't have to get too deep into that. You guys know that. As a fan, if you remember the feeling you had when that all started to trickle down, it was just horrifying. The 93
Brandon, I was crying in the bleachers after game 7.
I just remember the gut feeling like they lost. This is it. It's like that's and we all still had the curse before 2016. You still had that curse thing linger in the back of your head. So you're like, oh, that's it. This is it. The Cubs are done, and they were done, and that was it. And it got worse and worse and worse after that Bartman play. But the 93 retirement, Kyle, for sure. When I was told, I think Mom and Dad told us. Like, they had to deliver the news. Like, sit down, guys.
They did. It
Jordan,
was like Dimebag Darrell.
Jordan
We woke up
called
that
it
day.
quits, guys, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It's like however old I was, but no, that crushed my soul. And I thought Jordan was done. His dad had passed. He was shot in that weird that whole thing is
Gambling.
still weird.
They're still gambling.
There's a lot of speculation that his dad being killed had something to do with gambling debts as well.
And then his retirement followed that immediately because his dad wanted him to play baseball. You guys remember that? He said, "My dad always wanted to be a baseball player." He retired. That crushed me. It sucked the soul right out of my body. I wanted to sit down and talk with Jordan.
Dude, watching the Bulls
I
play without him
understand you
for 2
wanted to
years
play
was the
baseball,
hardest
but
thing.
why? Like
Watching Scottie Pippen trying to carry the Bulls in the playoffs against these teams that you knew they would have been
the
beating
Rockets,
the shit out of. Oh my god! They never played the Rockets.
Oh yeah, no, but that sucked because he was, the best that any player had ever been at any professional sport, man. It just, it was like you wouldn't have believed it. You wouldn't have believed it. But Super Bowl, the Super Bowl was my second, guys. I was alive for that. I loved the Bears more passionately than any other team, probably. That killed me. And I hated to sit there and like we are, guys, we're obsessed with this stuff. We live it, we breathe it. You had to sit there and endure it till the end. You did. And it was just
I was drunk.
Miserable feeling inside you. And my last was and I think somebody threw in the chat here. The Derrick Rose injury brought tears to my eyes, guys. My brother came into the restaurant. I was serving in a restaurant at the time. My oldest brother came in and said, "Have you heard?" I was busy at work, and I was like, "No, what's going on?" Derrick Rose tore his knee. I teared up. I stepped in the back of the restaurant, and it was the worst feeling as a Chicago sports fan I've ever had, because not only I had this bad realization that not only is this year in the bag, the future of the Bulls just tore its knee.
Once you knew Rose was done, like had that injury, you knew his career was over because his explosiveness was going to be gone, and that's what made him so special. And in that game in particular against the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoffs in the first fucking round, Thibodeau ran them into the fucking ground. Thibodeau left his starters out for way too long, and that game was out of hand. It was over. Pull your starters. That was totally avoidable. And I was saying it before it happened. Like, why are your starters still in the game? And it crushed me, man. That's high on my list. I want to throw an honorable mention out here, guys, because this one stuck out to me as well. The 2011 Stanley Cup playoffs, the Blackhawks against the Canucks in that first round series where they lost 4-3, and that was kind of like you're realizing like that run might be coming to an end a little bit. Like it was like they didn't have it the way they had it previously.
Man, I hated the Canucks.
I think they lost
so
to the Coyotes the next year.
I hated Luongo. I hated that team. Yeah.
But number 5 for me would be the 2010 NFC Championship game. We watched that at your place, Kyle, actually all together, and it was just very disappointing because that year it felt like everything was lining up for the Bears. Like the Seahawks beat the Saints in a ridiculous fashion. Marshawn Lynch had that like monster run. Wasn't that the same year? Like where the Seahawks shouldn't even have been in the playoffs. They were like a 7-win team, and it's like, okay, that's our first round matchup in the playoffs. Yeah, man. And so like it felt like things were lining up, and of course it's the Packers. It's the fucking Packers. Like that would just. It was heartbreaking, man. I think we all lost a piece of ourselves that night.
It had to be the Packers, man.
Yeah, man. What the fuck? What the fuck? And number 4 for me.
I should have put my picture in from that game.
Yeah. When the Bears get good, you'll be wearing that weird Russian Bears hat thing.
V-Dog says I thought it was 2011 that Jay got injured.
Well, it's the 2010 season. It was 2011 when they were playing. It was the 2010 NFC Championship, technically.
Lindsay says, love to end on a positive note. That's right, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Because it's an anniversary show. We had to end in tears.
Number 4. This is tough. Number 4 for me is the Cubs Marlins 03, the Bartman game and that whole series. Like I was watching that really, really intensely, and you just saw them just losing.
Who was
control.
that stud Marlins pitcher with the soul patch?
You just saw them, Josh Beckett. Yeah. And they had Darren.
What was his rookie year?
Who was the other dude? They had 2 awesome pitchers.
Pitcher.
No,
the pitcher.
The other pitcher was
the black dude with the bald head. What was his
Dontrell
name?
Willis.
Dontrell, yes, they had some really good pitching. That was a good Marlins
really good team, dude.
But the Cubs,
first baseman Miguel Cabrera, it was a really good.
The Cubs were better. The Cubs were better. The Cubs were a better team, right? Dontrell Willis, thank you, Swaggy. But so
Swaggy says Commanders 2024.
That's an honorable mention too, Swaggy. Thanks for throwing that out. I'm hard pressed to remember feeling.
I still have that feeling. I still remember that feeling.
But I think sometimes because it's just recent memory.
It's just not. Yeah, and also it's not that like there's not as much on the line at the end.
I haven't had time to process it. It's only been a year.
So yeah, that one would be number 4 for me. You watch the Cubs just fall apart. Number 3 to me was the Bears 06 Super Bowl. As we said, we talked about it, Sean. They had a puncher's chance in that game. And things did kind of fall in a way where they could have had a chance to win that game. And it was more competitive down to the line, down to the wire. If you really look back at it, and the Cedric Benson fumble just kind of fucked everything.
Or Rex Grossman's 4 fumbles.
I mean, but the
snap
in terms of the timing of the game and when those things happen, like that Benson fumble really just killed that drive and and you brought up the Daniel Manning leaving Reggie Wayne wide open. It just felt like the Bears could find a way because they could out-grit the Colts and just make some plays, right? So number 3, Super Bowl 06. I was very disappointed.
We talked about Sean and Kyle and Dustin talked about the double doink.
Yeah, the double doink does not beat the 2010 NFC Championship to me. It doesn't, and that's another one where you're just completely deflated after. I mean, it's another honorable mention for me. It'd be in my top 10.
Real quick, what was worse about the double doink is just how poorly the Patriots and Rams played in that Super Bowl. It was tough to. It was like 13-6.
Yeah, but
like, man,
Kyle, I don't think the Bears had a chance to beat the fucking Patriots. I never thought that.
I don't know, man. We'll never know.
Right. At the end of the day, we won't. You're right. But there were other plays in that game that led to the Bears being in that position in the first place, where guys made mistakes. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. But it doesn't make my top 5. My number 2 is the Derrick Rose injury, and it was hard to not put it number 1 because nothing really stuck with me more. And it was just so avoidable.
Still does.
Derrick Rose. Hurts. People just, I mean, you can look at his career stats or his averages for the Bulls and say, well, was he that special? Yeah. Who we got in here?
Yeah, don't exit the show. Whoever did that.
That's not me. I don't know who that is.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, listen, Derrick Rose won an MVP in his third season. He was a Chicago kid. The Bulls had like a 1.7% chance of getting him in that draft, and it fucking happened. And he came
He went
into
from
the
the
league,
ultimate high.
yeah, he came in the league and he was that dude. Like he just started kicking
MVP?
people's asses.
MVP?
Yeah, MVP 3 years in.
Oh,
So I mean, like
his style of play was generational. You'd never
You-
seen it. It was
you
innovative.
kind of forget. Yeah, that was like Russell Westbrook and him came in the same year. Those explosive
They
point
carried
guards,
balls like a running
it
back.
changed
You know what I mean?
basketball in some ways, you know what I'm saying? And then those Bulls teams also had some heartbreaking losses to the Miami Heat. Like there was chances that they had, and you thought they had more chances, and that was just taken away. So that fucking sucked, man. But number one is Jerry Krause breaking the Bulls up when you could have gone at least 2 more years. Like Jordan should have been able to stay here for as long as he fucking wanted, and what's worse really is what happened after that, because Jerry Krause thought he had this master plan. He wanted to get the credit for what this team did and not Michael Jordan. That's really what it came down to. And this team took a giant shit on the United Center floor for the next fucking 10 years after making that decision. They were cursed. Yeah. Well, the next 30 years. Yes. I mean, until Derrick Rose came, basically. And then you got some bereavement. There was some bereavement there with Rose for a short period of time. But that shows you how shit on the Bulls fans are, really, because look what happened to Derrick Rose. My number 1 and my number 2. Like they're pretty well correlated there. The Bulls could have won that championship that year. The Knicks went to the fucking finals. The 8 seed Knicks. The Bulls would have won that season.
I like all your guys's, and Sean, that Cubs Portman game hurts me. The Derrick Rose
He's smarter than no one.
I was not as big of a Bulls fan after Michael left. I'm
Thanks,
not going to
Les.
sit here and lie to you guys. I just
Appreciate
wasn't.
you, Les.
I watched all of it.
I know, yeah. And Dustin
watched
Vernon, you
all
guys
of it.
were always very vocal about how much you love the Bulls with Noah and Dang and Rose. I just wasn't as invested as a Bulls fan after.
I love Joakim Noah.
So the most of mine are Bears.
I watched Marcus Pfizer and Eddie Robinson.
Of all the
Tyson Chandler and Eddie Curry. And the teams
It got dark.
Yeah, it got real bad.
Of all the major sports teams in Chicago, the Bears are the ones that I love the most, and just them never really having a real chance to win a Super Bowl is just soul crushing.
Yeah, that's why the 06 Super Bowl is number 3 on my list, because
we've all invested a lot in the Chicago Bears, right, guys? Everybody on the show.
We invest a lot into all of our sports.
The Bears had a better chance at that Super Bowl, Kyle, than you're giving
all
them
the things we've listed tonight.
Not in my
the same shit.
I just there was no way in hell that Rex Grossman was going to be Peyton Manning. I'm sorry, guys. I just never thought it. And maybe there was a small 1%.
I thought Brian Urlacher
Brian Urlacher was the equalizer.
Yeah,
when Peyton Manning would make an adjustment, Urlacher.
I wanted Urlacher to win a Super Bowl so badly. I felt so bad for him when that game was over.
At that point, the NFL had become so quarterback driven. They had just changed the pass interference rules to favor the offense. Like I'm like, it's Peyton Manning.
No, but
Super Bowl.
The thing that the Bears missed in that game is that they didn't get pressure on Peyton Manning. And when you see teams that have success against Peyton Manning, they got pressure on him, and they just sat in that. They sat in that Tampa 2 the entire time, and he picked it apart. If they would have changed their game plan and put pressure on Peyton Manning, that defense was good enough to win that fucking game. And you got the special teams touchdown. That game was closer than we're looking back at it now, man. It really
like
was.
I said, going into the game, man, I said to everybody around me, I said, if you leave the door open for Peyton Manning, if you don't get this team out of it, if you don't crush their soul in the first 2 quarters, and I'm not talking about one kickoff return, I'm talking about don't let them score in the first half, you stand a chance. But
you saw the Saints do it against Peyton Manning and the Colts, and they beat the shit out of Peyton Manning.
Chargers for years. The Chargers for years beat
the Chargers beat the shit out. The Chargers stand out in my mind as a team that
I think there was 6
very well.
One playoff game for Peyton Manning, but
Philip Rivers will be one of those quarterbacks that should have won a Super Bowl.
Bears could only rush 4. Tommy Harris wasn't playing. I just didn't like everything leading up to the game.
Yep, and you don't change what you've been doing all year. That's been down. I get it.
I think you can make an argument that you
Chris Harris was terrible.
Kyle Orton. I really still think to this day that Kyle Orton is the reason the Bears made the playoffs that season.
I remember Kyle thinking Danielle Manning and Chris Harris aren't good enough. I remember thinking Reggie Wayne.
Nathan Vasher.
These guys are going to shred these safeties. I liked Vasher. I thought the safety.
He was a correction. Thomas Jones did have a great Super Bowl.
Thomas Jones played well.
He should have just had a better.
That's why Cedric Benson shouldn't have been carrying the football.
He had 15 carries.
He should have 25. Should have 25. It was last game of the season. What are you saving him for?
Yes, Thomas Jones should have been your running back.
What are you saving him for?
Cedric Benson should not have been touching the football.
Not scoring in the second half killed the Bears. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And not scoring enough offensively.
You got to score points.
And then you guys remember it started to rain a little bit, and Rex Grossman fumbled back-to-back snaps.
Yeah,
Well, dude, that was the Prince halftime show, Purple Rain in the Rain. That was.
I
It's
forgot
one of the
about
best
that.
halftime shows of all time.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Guys,
right, guys.
Now that we depressed everyone, you can all try to go to sleep.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
Guys,
everybody.
thanks for everybody who
This
joined
is
us for
what
the
marriage
show.
is like.
This one meant a lot to us, obviously, guys. Put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this, and so have you guys. Been right here along with us, watching these shows and enduring it. I thought somebody's going to throw in the chat. I think one of my worst Chicago sports moments is when 4-Star Chicago Sports started.
Start talking about their worst Chicago sports moment.
I thought that was going to make its way in there. But we appreciate you. We love you, guys. I love you. The three of you. It's been fun. This has been one hell of a year.
Special thanks.
We've had some highs and some lows. We've had some heated moments.
The Bears season is starting in what, 2 weeks?
14 days from today.
Next week,
we'll be sitting in the stands in 2 weeks. We'll be in the third or fourth quarter, right?
See that, guys? I say I love you, and we talk about the Bears game starting in 2 weeks from now.
Guys, we're gonna try to get you content. We're gonna try to get you content pregame and halftime of that game, that Monday night opener. My three cohorts.
We are indeed. If I can hear myself think, I will tune in.
We can go out on the colonnades and do something at halftime.
And I think we got to get some content. Let's do.
I will tell you this.
I think Drunk Sean. I said this to you guys privately. I'll say it publicly right now. I think Drunk Sean will be great.
Guys, hit a like on that video if you want to see Drunk Sean.
Let's give you a shout out here, man.
You're the Gronk of the team. He blocks and catches.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And he parties.
We'll see. We'll see.
Thanks, V-Dog, and yes, thank you to Zack Pearson.
Zack Pearson, thank you so much. Yeah,
hopefully he tuned out of the rest of the show.
No, there was some good parts.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, listen, next week
it's been a fun year, bro.
Real quick, next week we're gonna do our division predictions. All
big show.
Every team, all of our record predictions, playoffs, all the way to the Super Bowl. You guys are going to want to tune in for that, and all the reward predictions as well. Yep, we're gonna do our big prediction show. What am I missing?
We've been forgetting to announce this the last couple of weeks, but when Monday Night Football starts, we will be kicking the show to 6:00 because I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to us while Monday Night Football is on. And obviously, we'll work out something because the first week, 3 of us will be at the game.
Thank you, John.
We'll figure out something. Thank
you.
We're going to get y'all content.
I thought we were making the 6:00 switch next week.
No. Are we?
Oh, you know what? We did talk about
we agreed on. Yeah.
We did.
We will be at 6:00 starting next week.
Yeah. That'll give us plenty of time to get into all that shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, you want to just do one more week at 7 since we didn't announce it at all to anybody else?
I'm sure everybody can be here for that. If y'all got a problem with it, let us know in the comments. But we'll be here. I mean, you guys, this is weird. We don't want to be.
All right, we'll roll one more with 7:00. Yeah, there we go. We'll roll one more with 7:00, guys. Then starting week 2.
Yes.
Week 2 of the NFL season, we will be back at 6:00. We want to try to get as much content out before that Monday Night Football.
Well, week 1 of the season, we're going to be here, guys. I'll jump in for pregame. I'll jump in for halftime.
We'll be in the parking lot talking to people and getting everybody's opinion. Yeah, we'll be here at 6:00.
Yeah, we're going to get a time together. We have to get a time together to do that. We got to talk about that.
Well, this is an opportune moment to say, guys, hey, everybody in the chat, during the day of the game, check out our Facebook, our 4-Star Chicago page, our 4-Star Chicago Sports Facebook page, because I will be going live from the Facebook account. I don't think the StreamYard thing just popping into a live feed is kind of weird. I don't know how much we're going to do on YouTube, but if you keep your eyes on the Facebook page, I'll be doing a lot of live streaming from Facebook.
I'll
interview some fans. We'll interview some fans. We'll go through the South lot, see what the tailgates are looking like, guys. We'll report to you how people feel about the Bears.
You guys take care of yourselves.
We'll get a show for halftime. I'll jump in with some thoughts on the YouTube. We'll get you guys a bunch of content. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, V-Dog, we're going to be trying to get. And Zack Pearson said he might come back on with us.
We got some others lined
Other
up.
things
I'm
lined
working
up.
on some-
Yeah,
I'm
we're working on
a
it.
few.
We got some things cooking, guys. I appreciate you
I
guys.
was
pitching your-
trying to get a hold of Dan Wiederer, but after today and him saying they're going to cut Billings, I think I'm going to cut him.
No, I'd love to talk to him about that.
I love Dan
Wiederer's the
Wiederer.
man.
He is one of my favorite. I
Yeah.
was very disappointed. in him.
Leisure, Grody, and Weeder are all. And
Post-show
I like
conversation.
Biggs.
What's that?
Post-show conversations.
Guys, we love
All
y'all.
right, boys.
Thank you for
We
being
love you.
here.
Thank everybody
It's been
so
a great
much.
year. But
Don't
we're looking
forget
forward to
Wednesday
another
we'll be
great
back.
year.
John, thanks,
Thursday
man.
we'll be back. Saturday we'll be back. We love y'all. Thank y'all. Bear down. Good night. Peace.